Hey, what's up, guys? You are watching Nerds Discuss, or rather listening if you're ever on Spotify. And for the first time ever, we are coming to you live from kick.com/Nerds Discuss. I nearly said Tech Talks again. I'm an idiot.
Technically, it's not for the first time. It's for the second time because the first time
True.
crashed.
But yes, welcome in. As always, I've been DJ Costin.
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
And this week is a little bit of a change to our normal programming. We usually discuss the last month in tech and gaming news and just, well, nerdy news in general. But we changed it up a little bit. We're a man down, as you can notice. We haven't got the apocalyptic. He seems to be, shall we say, he's indisposed. No. He's disposed. We've disposed of him. We've no, I'm kidding.
We're not supposed to say that.
We didn't kill him.
There's a lot of ways of disposing of somebody without killing them.
But yeah, we're with him down. He's not with us this week. But usually we talk about the month's news. This month, we're going to be talking about live action movies. Or rather, live action remakes, and what our personal thoughts on them, especially with the news of the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch, and even some other Disney movies that have been recreated in the last couple of years as well. We've also got some updates for the Wizards of the Coast debacle.
Keep digging the hole deeper.
That we discussed. What episode was it? 2? I think it was episode 2 we discussed it. I know we ended up doing an entire episode dedicated to Wizards of the Coast.
I mean, it's
do remember that.
Possible. They keep. Oh, their CEO needs to learn to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Wait, is it the Wizard CEO or is it Hasbro? I think it might be the Hasbro CEO that needs to keep his mouth shut.
It's one of them.
I think it's the Hasbro CEO, or maybe it's both.
Maybe.
The latest one was the Hasbro CEO needs to needs to keep his mouth shut.
But to start off the show, we're gonna do what we usually do at the very beginning. Redneck, how have you been? What have you?
Glitches?
Well, aside from that, but Redneck, what have you been up to in the last month? Any sort of news or anything that you've been working towards over the last month that the nerds would like to know?
Of the nerdy factor, not really. I'm working on setting up a small business where I'm going to be selling books, movies, CDs. Yes, because there are some people who still use DVDs and CDs.
People use
vinyl still, so whatever. I'm working on getting that set up that I'm going to be doing personally. Right now, due to some financial restrictions, it might not be available for international. So for some of you guys in Europe or in England and other places, sorry, you might be a little out of luck, at least for now.
Retro Neon in the chat. Sorry to interrupt you. He goes, "Hello, nerds. What's the discussion? We're talking about AI again." That's a little running. Just to clarify, that's a little running joke that we have because Neon is terrified of AI. It is actually kind of funny.
It really is. And it's funny because it's a good thing he's not in our main server because I posted an article there a while back.
To be fair, it was very funny. But Neon, we've already gone over what we're talking about. You can see it in the title. If you're on Kick and Twitch, it's just below us.
Well, obviously he's on Twitch because he's in the channel. I see him typing.
Shh. But yeah, let's start off. Oh no, wait, did you even? I'm all over the place today. Did you finish? Did you finish what you were talking about, Redneck?
Mainly
about
just
what's new with you.
Small business. It's going to be limited to U.S. only for the moment, although it might expand outside. The main issue is figuring out how to ship things to other countries, because that's its own pain in the ass. Because now you have to deal with the freaking customs.
Unless you consider drop shipping, because I know a lot of companies are going for drop shipping now.
Well, even then, if I have the product literally here, like over here next to me, to get it to another company, it still has to go across borders, so customs still has to apply.
Rip.
Now, if the source is in that country, Like if I'm routing from warehouse in London to your house, it's still within England, not a problem. But going from Texas to England is a problem.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Anything else you've been working on? Or has it just primarily been that?
Primarily been that, especially for like the last like 2-3 weeks, because there's paperwork that I have to do. It's
Gotta
actually
love that
fairly cheap.
paperwork.
I've gotten a website. I paid for all the domains for 5 years. I paid for the business license. I'm going to be paying somebody to do the website setup.
This guy.
Yeah. And thus far, I've paid less than $200 for everything.
Oh, nice.
The business license was $28.
He's shake. I can tell he's shaking in his boots when he finds out my prices. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, the difference is I'm filing as a sole proprietor, so I don't have to worry about being incorporated, which is where things get a lot more complicated.
Oh yeah,
it's
because
literally
it's
just
tax
me.
and bullshit.
Yeah, but the website, I think it ran me 150. The business license was 28, and then I'm gonna pay you some to get the website set up. But I've already got, like I said, the domain. I've gotten set up with Stripe. I'm working on getting set up with PayPal, so money can be processed. Earliest official open day for that will be June 1st. That
Hey,
reminds me, I still
nice.
need to set up
That's 9
the.
days before my birthday.
Well, that'll be a happy early birthday to you then.
Heck yeah.
Considering you can also potentially tag your name and all that on the website as built by this jerk off.
Just me violently nodding my head. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Not gonna miss the paperwork. The paperwork's not bad. It's just time consuming.
Yeah,
It's like, I'll be honest, it's not bad.
You can turn it into a game if you think hard enough.
Well, literally, the paperwork for filing the business was 2 pages, I think.
Oh yikes!
Or maybe, but it's like, if you were to actually put it in small print instead of like half the first page has to be filed out by the office you're filing it at. So you yourself only file a page and then sign on like the second page.
Neon in the chat says, "Sounds like a Russian guy." There's jerk off. God damn it, Neon. That's all I can say on that. God damn it, Neon.
Yes, this is my partner. His name is Jerkov.
My name is Jerkov. I like to take it right up the bum, you know? Even though we are anti-gay state. No, we're not getting political. We're not getting political.
That's you.
We've always said we're never going political on this channel.
You're the one who tried to start shit.
I know.
But yeah, that's it for me. What about you? What fancy or special is going on with you?
Oh, I've been super fucking busy over the last
I've seen some of the
month.
stuff you've been working on.
Yeah, so as some of you know, I've made my own Discord and Twitch bot. So with the Discord bot, we now have full Twitter integration. So if someone makes a tweet, it'll announce it in the Discord within about a minute, because obviously API limitations. But we've also got YouTube integration, which I've been working hard on for the last sort of 3-4 days. It's actually quite a quick implementation, which actually really shocked me at how quick I managed to get the YouTube stuff. But I basically made an underlying service now that handles it all. So if any of the requests get bugged out or whatever on like Twitter's side or on YouTube's side, it'll just crash the integration layer, but the bot will stay live. And then it will just reboot the integration layer. Or if the bot crashes, it will just queue up like tweets to announce or YouTube videos to announce. And then when the bot comes back live, it'll just post them all.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that primarily creating Gina, because that's what I've named it, Gina. It stands for GG Interface Notifier.
Gina.
Something. What was it again? Hold on.
Does it like gin?
Let me log into Pterodactyl. GG Integration Notification Assistant. Or rather, GG Integrated Notification Assistant. There we go.
But does it like gin?
It can if you think hard enough. But not just that. I've also been working on some cool little bits with Nerdz Discuss. So as you know, I'm the producer. I'm the media manager for everything to do with the podcast. If you've seen it posted anywhere, that's probably down to me. If you've seen it recorded, it's probably down to me. If you think that the audio quality is shit, that's probably down to Twitch.
Yep,
I mean,
sounds
it's
about
guest
right.
star. It's guest star. Ugh.
Yep.
But basically, I manage all of the media content. And unfortunately, in August, I'm going to be away for the last half of the month, which means I'm not going to be able to make that episode. And because I generally record and I plan and I live produce the show.
And he refuses to share that production data with the rest of us.
No. I wanted to make a simplified system that everyone could access within the team. So if I wasn't there, the production values that you know are still there, the exact same look, the exact same experience, etc. It's all the same, no matter if I'm streaming it or whether Redneck or APOC streaming it. It's all from one centralized machine. But I've also created some automations now, so that once a video stopped recording, it'll automatically spit out an MP3 file for Spotify, and then it'll automatically upload the video to YouTube, which is pretty cool. But it's not an AI automation. Don't worry, Neon. It's just a software automation. But to be fair, it's pretty sweet. I've tested it, and it really does work. The only problem that I've got to figure out is GPU wise for the server machine, because
we just saw what happens with that.
We struggled to stream and record off of the same GPU because we're having to go pretty cheap on the hardware. I mean, it's running a 760. It's not a bad card, but it can't handle 2 streams and 1 recording. It can only handle like 1 stream and 1 recording, or 2 streams. It can only handle like 2 things at once, and yeah, so I managed to mitigate the issue for now, but that's actually something that we can talk about today while we're talking about the live action remakes, because I know that is a huge thing in the news at the minute.
I'm mainly doing this to mess with Neon. Because I posted that like a month ago.
So yeah. We're going to move on now to our very first topics of the show. The very first one, we're going back to episode 2 slightly, where we were talking about the Wizards of the Coast debacle, where they were basically shafting their players and their publishers and people who like to create expansions and shit, and they basically shafting everyone. Unfortunately, I have no knowledge on this subject, so you're not going to hear from me or see from me for a while because I have no input to put here. But Redneck, I know he can talk about this for hours, but I promise you, it ain't going to last for hours because I try to keep these episodes at least a maximum of 2.5 hours. Because
I'm going to try to go over some of it fast. There's like 3 points, one of which is actually from last month. But I'm going to try to keep it quick. At least one of them will be pretty quick. And that is that Wizards of the Coast has announced that their new Dungeons and Dragons books, like the upcoming release ones that are going to be new publishes, they're increasing the cost of physical books by 20% for all new release books. They're just upping the cost 20% flat out. They're not changing the price of their digital copies, which is good. But that also means a copy for a digital book is still $50.
If anybody doesn't understand, that's a lot.
$50 for a PDF.
That's even worse, okay? The thing is, if it was like a physical book, it wouldn't matter so much. But the fact that it is a PDF that anybody could literally put on the internet and not charge anyone for, or, start charging for anybody anyway, the thing is, you can't even turn around and say it's just NFTs all over again, because NFTs basically went the way of most files. Okay, it's not NFTs all over again. It's called piracy, and it's always been a fucking thing.
Exactly.
As long as there has been software, there has been software piracy.
Piracy predates software. What are you talking about?
Okay, I did specify software piracy, just saying.
But yeah, I mean, the books are already $50, so they're increasing it to 60. And they're like, "Oh yeah, people are gonna pay this."
Jesus.
Yes. So that's the latest in that bullshittery.
Hold on. Okay, I think that was a dramatic pause. Okay, continue.
All right. So in following with this price increase bullshittery, there was an article where the Hasbro CEO, who needs to learn to keep his mouth shut. By the way, his name is funny as hell.
Oh, please tell us.
Chris Cox. It is spelled exactly the way you think.
He said Cox. Ha, that's funny because I'm a gamer.
No, legit, that is his actual name. Cocks.
Wow, that is probably the most funny thing I think I've heard all day.
I'm not making up. That is literally.
Neon says in the chat, Chris Cox. What's his middle name? Sucks.
No, but he loves dicking over apparently the fans.
Lordy Lord.
He actually had I don't remember if it was an interview. No, here it was. It was during the 51st annual JP Morgan Global Technology Media Communications Conference, which was in Boston. He is quoted as saying, "I joke a little bit with our team, but I think it's serious. Our competitor right now is more Unilever and General Mills than Mattel or Lego." He's saying food companies are the major competitor, not other toy companies. I'll let that one sit in for the moment. So he thinks that, and the reason he kind of elaborates on saying that is because people are the general consumer is getting pinched pretty hard by inflation, particularly food inflation. So they're having to make trade-offs. Okay, well, yes, food inflation, prices on food has gone up. But he's saying that's why people aren't buying as much of their stuff.
Just a quick question. Are you on the Boston Globe article?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was lost a moment there because I was looking at the IGN article. And I was like, where is this?
No, I segued from that one because I told you that one would be fast.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's pretty easy. It just it like look it very short article and it has two pictures that literally takes up most of the space of that page. Like,
yeah, and like it's broken down to 3 sections. The last section isn't even technically supposed touching on anything in the article. So it's just like, yeah, it was like, that's dumb. They're just hiking their prices while saying that their biggest competitor is, in this next article, food, because food's gotten more expensive. Therefore, food is their main competitor.
yay, food.
But the same.
I'm sorry, but
Mr.
that's
Cox,
like turning
CEO.
that's like turning around and saying an African child is now our competitor for gaming. I'm like,
Oh no.
how can you make that association? They're not the same.
Oh, but it gets worse. Let me see. What do they put? The company's direct-to-consumer business that curates high-end products for the collector market. The same products that people are saying that quality has been going down on. Like quality is dropping hard, so that you're getting $25 toys that might as well have come out of the dollar store $5 bin. Like paint's not done right, the paint's falling off, or it's mispainted, or it's like literally just super feels cheap and is crap plastic. I've been hearing a lot of this from a couple of different sources. They say we saw a sales increase. The business tends to have a customer base who is older, savvier, and a bit higher income consumer. So they're talking about how like their target people are.
Can I just say for a moment, okay? My favorite part of that article is the very, very, very bad lack of punctuation in that sentence. It's like which Cox says tends to have a customer base which who is older, savvier, a bit higher income consumer. To me, that makes it sound like Cox is a company, and basically they're turning around and saying that a Cox consumer base is basically older, savvier, and a bit higher income consumer. So basically, what they're telling me there is Russian prostitute. I'm sorry, I had to make that comment because it sounds like it's to do with prostitution because his surname is Cox. It's funny.
I know.
Let's move on. Okay.
Oh, no.
It is a funny surname.
Oh, there's lots of jokes about this guy's name. And I deliberately held off and telling you what his name was before. So all your reactions to this are just on point because you didn't know his name before we got on this live.
I'll be honest, I do love it when someone like tells me, yeah, they don't tell me until it, because this is the thing that we'll just go back to talking about, we're just talking about Nerds Discuss. One of the good things about Nerds Discuss is just
Neon. God damn it!
Oh, for God's sake, Neon. But yeah, one of the core things with Nerds Discuss is you get the raw, unfiltered discussion, our first thoughts, if you like, on a lot of these things. It's like video games, etc. When Hogwarts Legacy was released and I had played the game, APOC had played the game, you basically had our first person thoughts of what we were like when we played the game, our personal experiences. And we discuss that. And that's one of the things we love about Nerds Discuss. It's a forum for us to be able to, as the title suggests, for us nerds to discuss things and sort of get off of our chest, not just a personal, like first-person experience, but also experiencing something secondhand for the first time ever. Like with this article, I just love that name, Cox. I'm not going to lie. It's funny because I'm a gamer.
There are so many jokes about this. Like I said, how the CEO Cox is dicking over the customers. Because it's like, and you were reading that one sentence of that paragraph. Jump to the paragraph above that. Aries Code is saying, when you look at the top 20% of discretionary income household, particularly the collector market, that market is holding very buoyant and healthy.
A bit like my balls. Sorry, I had
here's
to.
The thing.
Again, like I said, I'm a gamer.
Yeah, and then said Cox, who earned $9.4 million in 2022, a 250% increase in his compensation compared to the previous year.
Yeah, that is.
So in a company that's trying to make profit, he himself got a 250% increase after Hasbro laid off a bunch of its staff, remember?
I'll be honest. This is going back to a lot of the conversations that we've had in previous episodes and stuff like that. These companies have it's effectively poor planning, I think, is the best way of explaining it, because they're not planning for the long term. They're more looking at the short term, and it's like,
yeah. I mean, well, for Hasbro, he literally told them that the company tends to be more oriented towards collectors and high income consumers. So their target orientation, their target customer,
because you make your products expensive.
Exactly.
If you make your products expensive,
they're not targeting this for kids. They're not making toys and fun things for kids. Their target customer is the older adult.
We're not making them for not just kids, but people in their early teens or even in their late teens when they're a young adult. Like they're marketing them for those that have got an established job where they've got money to be able to throw away. And this is the thing.
Consumers, most of those people are at least in their 30s or older. I mean, come on. Who nowadays is a freaking high-income consumer? Not many.
No. I mean, yeah, sure. I've got a PC setup that cost me like $4,000, but even then, I wouldn't classify myself
I think mine cost
as
two
a
and a
higher
half to
income
set up, but it
consumer.
took me a year to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't class myself as a higher income consumer on the basis of I bought a $4,000 PC and I did all and I bought all the stuff for it. Like that's stuff that I've had to work hard for over the years. You know, I'll be honest. I'll say it here on this feed. You know, I'm unemployed. My main source of income is benefits system in the UK. What I get from Twitch and any additional donations that I get from people, they are my main source of income. I have to work hard to be able to get what I want. I have to put money to the side. I have to save. I'm not a high income earner. I'm not a higher income consumer. I am at most a low income consumer that could afford nicer things because I've saved for it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, for me, I work 40 hours a week. I have a main job. I don't get paid shit hardly. I am getting paid below the livable wage margin. My medications, one of them is an expensive one that I am covered due to a financial assistance, because otherwise that would be anywhere from $300 to $400 a month.
Exactly. And I think that this is one of the things, like a lot of people will look at streamers and they'll go, yeah, they're probably living very comfortably. Like somebody will probably come by my stream and go, yeah, I can see you've got a $4,000 setup in your PC thing. I bet you're just loving the money that you earn. And I'm like, I don't actually earn that much. I was like, I get about, you know, I'll openly discuss it. Okay, I get about 650 pounds, Great British pounds, every month from benefits. On average, I will pull in from Twitch anywhere between $20 to $30, and donations even less.
I was gonna say a month. It took me 5 years to get a Twitch payout the first time. That was back when Twitch payouts required you to hit $100. So that
Yeah.
it took me 5 years to hit that $100 mark. Now,
Yeah. I mean,
I will
I'll
admit,
say
thanks
this.
to
I feel
two
lucky.
generous people, I've been able to get multiple payouts this year so far, but that's because of the generosity of two people. Otherwise, the most income I make per month on Twitch is like $5.
I was gonna say, like, I myself, I feel lucky because I've built a community. I was originally over on Mixer, but the problem when I was over on Mixer is they didn't have a platform for you to subscribe to. They didn't have a platform where you could cheer bits or support your streamer directly on the platform. And since I've moved to Twitch, yes, I've been able to make a nice amount that I can afford to buy nice things on the odd occasion. Like, for example, I'll my headset that came through from sub donations that I put to the side. You know, and if it wasn't for the fact that I built that following beforehand and I had to start out on nothing, I'd have probably been in the exact same position as you and probably been waiting 5-6 years for my first payment.
Yeah, well, when I built my PC, I built it with the plan on not having to replace a single component for several years.
Yep, that's
So there
exactly
is
what
no
I do.
intent to upgrade this machine. This machine cost me about a total of probably 2,500, but I spread that out over a year and a half, putting all the components together, buying them, doing all that. And it was another half year after that, I think, that I finally got it built. So this was a machine 2 years into making,
Yeah.
and it hasn't been messed with at all in probably the last 2 years.
Well,
So
it's
this
like
thing
mine.
is
I
already
built
4 years
mine.
old. It'll probably keep going for another 3 or 4.
I built mine end of 2021, which, as you can imagine, GPU prices were very high at that point. Couldn't get anything for a decent price then. Let's put it this way: a 3060 at that time was costing about $600-700 or pounds, depending on where you're from.
I put a
Okay,
2080 in
it
this
was
thing.
insane.
I didn't even
I,
get a
in the
3000
end,
series.
decided to go out all out, and I decided, okay, I've got the money. Okay, I saved up enough. I got about $4,000. I was like, sod it. I'm gonna build the best PC that I can. I don't care about the cost. I've got $4,000 to play with here. In fact, I think it was 4,500 I had to play with at the time. I had a little bit left over to be able to put money into other things, but I ended up getting the biggest case that I could because it meant I had the expandability. I could fit whatever GPU that I wanted in it. I could fit whatever fans I ever wanted in it. I had enough room for all the storage that I could possibly want. I bought it to to sort of ground myself and sort of build a foundation for the future. And it's like with this case, I could see this case probably lasting me like 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, maybe even more, because of the amount of because of how big it is. And was it worth?
I bought mine off eBay. It was parts of it were broke, and I had to fix them and make them going again. But that meant I paid 40% less than what it normally sold for.
Yeah, it's like some people say to me, "Why did you buy a 300-pound case?" Yes, it cost me 300 quid.
I was about to say it weighs 300 pounds. Goddamn.
But the thing is, when you're buying computer components, whether it be a case, whether it be hard drives, SSDs, coolers, CPUs, motherboards, or anything like that, it's not a purchase, it's an investment. Because in about 10, 20 years' time, I could probably sell every single component in that. Yeah, it will be a lot less than what I bought it for, but it would still hold some form of value.
Or you're like me and you don't bother upgrading or changing anything till something goes wrong, or you physically have to because it literally doesn't do what you need to anymore.
Exactly. That's like, the same with me.
The machine I went to college and gamed on, that machine, I built it originally in 2006, rebuilt part of it in 2010, continued to game on that machine up until probably 2016, 2017.
Well, my old PC that I had before this,
bought a cheap piece of junk afterwards, and that cheap piece of junk lasted long enough for me to build up this one.
Yeah, the last PC I had before this one, yes, it lasts me a lot less than 10, 20 years. But I built it in 2015, and it got decommissioned in 2021.
Yeah,
but the only reason why I did that was because the CPU that I put in it at that time, it was the best that you could get for that motherboard platform, but it was cheap because it was a few generations old. So it was already starting to show its age when I bought it, but it's still very capable. But by the time it came to 2021, my PC was chugging, even so much so that I ended up having to borrow a second PC off of a friend just so I could stream and have a separate streaming PC.
I am incorrect on my numbers, but I've built 3 desktops, only 3, probably since 2004. So in almost 20 years, I've only built 3 machines.
Damn.
I bought one piece of junk because, like, I literally spent $250 on it. It was a cheap piece of junk, but it was because I needed a second machine for stuff I was doing for school stuff and work. So I've built 3 in almost 20
Neon,
years.
I see you going fucking hell in the chat, and it's like the thing is, when you're building a computer, you're building it as an investment, not just for like the longevity scale of it. It's also a way for you to make income. Like with me, with my streaming, it's a way for me to make income. Creating the bots and stuff like that, it's a way for me to generate income. You know, it really is an investment. Yes, I spent £4,000 on my PC, but that PC is going to last me for fucking years. I literally bought the best.
To make it last, not to just go with the latest and greatest, and then you're going to replace it all again in like a year's time. No,
I went latest and greatest. I'll be honest. I went latest and greatest,
and you don't plan on changing it for 5-6 years minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Like I went balls to the walls. I went, best of everything. I got the best CPU that you could buy at the time. I got the best GPU that you could buy, although the 3090s were like an extra like grand nearly, and I was already paying like 1,500 for my GPU anyway. So I was like, fuck, paying 2,500 for a GPU. Especially, do you know what? I actually did a lot of research on it. So 3080 Ti that I've gotten in my machine right now, the only difference between that and the 3090 is half of the VRAM. That is literally it. It's the same core clocks. It's the exact same memory clocks. It's just a smaller amount of RAM.
Yeah, in my case, I'm running a 2080 Super. So it's like that puts out as much power as some of the low-level 30 series.
I was going to say, APOC is currently rocking. He's starting to struggle a bit now, but he's running a 1070 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nearly 10 that's nearly a 10-year-old graphics card at this point.
Yep.
Like it's getting, and he's raising money at the minute. He's trying to get donations and stuff so that he can upgrade that PC, because the GPU is the only thing that needs upgrading in his machine. His CPU is perfectly capable. In fact, his CPU is only the generation below mine.
He's got a 20 series?
CPU.
Oh, CPU. I thought you said GPU.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I've got a 5800X 3D, which is literally the best gaming CPU that I could buy at the time. He's got the 3700X on his. So his is literally a whole generational leap behind mine in terms of CPU. In terms of GPU, he's on a 1070 Ti while I'm on a 3080 Ti.
Yeah, and I'm on a 2080. 2080 Super Black is what it was.
So Redneck's in the middle of me and APOC right now.
Yep. But I mean, with that 2080 Super, it does as much as like the 3060 was doing. So I was just one of those, like, I don't need the other, because it's like I'm already doing a low tier 30 series with a 20 series.
I was gonna say my 3080 Ti. The prime reason why I got it is because I do a lot of stuff with videos. I need the extra horsepower because it makes things a lot more efficient. The more powerful something is, the more efficient something is.
It makes sense.
But if you're just sitting there playing games and on the odd occasion streaming like Redneck, you don't need to go balls to the walls and get a 3080 Ti or a 3090 or even a 4090 now. I was saying this with APOC when I was discussing stuff. Even a 4060 would be a massive upgrade compared to the 1070 Ti that he's got right now. A 4060, and it costs way less than what that 1070 Ti did at brand new.
Mm-hmm. I just checked. The CPU I have in this machine is a Ryzen 7 3700X.
Oh, you got the same CPU as Jod. Nice.
Yep.
Anyway, continuing on. We went on a bit of a tangent. We always do that.
I mean, yeah, this is normal. Has been for a long time.
Oh well. They're going to release a 5012 soon. I swear, no number correlation, just made them up. No, they'll never release a 5012. They'll never release a 5012.
No, they'll change their numbers and they'll go,
it'll be like 5090, 5080, 5070, 5060. The lowest card you'll probably see is a 5050.
Why they do some of the numbers the way they do.
I love that. The lowest card that they'll probably release in the next generation is going to be the 5050. It's going to be like, is it going to work? Is it not? Don't know.
Is it going to do what you need or not? Maybe, maybe not.
It's got a 50% chance of catching on fire, like the 4090s did. But that's the topic of conversation we missed. Oh, no, that's what I mean, because the power connectors on the new ones, because it's PCIe 5, power connectors were melting.
No, it was I think it was a set of phones because the battery, it would literally overheat and explode.
Oh yeah, you had the Samsung ones, but you also had this whole series. It wasn't Corsair. Who was it? I think it was Cooler Master. Their power supplies are exploding in PCs as well. And bearing in mind, Cooler Master, Cooler Master are meant to be like one of the top tier like power supply manufacturers out there. And then all of a sudden, they just went from up here to all because of a few explosions.
Explosions!
Anyway,
loves a good explosion.
Did Cox have anything else to say?
Of course. Spouting bullshit is what Cox do.
No, Cox spouts semen, not shit. That's the wrong side of the body.
Depends if you start in one and then change.
True. What Cox do is piss. I love that. Neon, you're awesome. I love you. Don't ever fucking change. Please, never change.
Yeah, pissing all over their consumer base. You remember the comment about how he had a 250% increase in his pay?
Yeah.
They put forward also a cost-cutting plan that would save the company 250 to 300 million annually over the next 3 years. So it's like, this is also after in January of cutting 15% of its workforce. So it's like, he got this massive boost, but they cut their staff. Huh?
I'm
They're
just
also looking
detecting a
to
major meta vibe
unload.
right here.
Yeah, they're also wanting to unload their new the E1 television and film business studio that they got, that they bought that. Now they're looking to offload and sell it. So yeah, they're wanting to, let's see, focus more on gaming products and collectibles geared towards older audiences. So they're not, Hasbro doesn't really care about the kids anymore. It's not
Yeah,
about the
it's
kids. It's about the
yeah.
old rich
But it's
people.
the paragraph after that that really gets me. If you look at the 5 super categories that we're leaning into, first and foremost, we're leaning into games, said Cox. That's a big business for us. Very high growth, very high profitability for us.
Yeah, it's
But is
high
it?
profitability when you're
But is
charging
it?
$50 for a PDF.
The thing is, though, the question that you've got to, the question you've got to ask here, though, is you're leaning into games. Is it very much high growth? Is it very much a high profitability for you? Probably
It
right
can when
now,
they're
but the problem
squeezing their
is,
customer base dry.
if you
But eventually
squeeze
it's
your
gonna dry up.
customer base dry too much, people are going to leave. People are going to go find alternatives. People are
I mean,
going to
they
look
already
for
are.
different things.
Well,
And you're going to
here's
end
the
up with
thing.
less people using the product, and then you're not going to be making the profit. And then is it really going to be high growth, high profitability?
No,
No, it's
because
probably
they're
going to be
gonna.
high profitability, but it's going to be a very, very low growth. In fact, you're probably going to be losing customers over time.
Yes, particularly when with some of the stuff we're looking at, so their website D&D Beyond, where they have a lot of their content, but it's paywalled. You can buy the PDF and pay a monthly subscription to have access to everything.
Yeah.
So they're getting you twice. You pay a monthly subscription for access to content, and then you also have to buy the PDF
Ding dong,
that is
ring.com's
restricted
calling.
in that. Jeez. You have to buy that PDF, which is then also part of that paywall subscription. So the moment you stop paying for the paywall, you don't have access to what you paid for.
So again, ding dong, ring.com calling.
Yep. Also, Neon, the more you squeeze, the less money there is to
You're not
squeeze.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Well, he just wants to squeeze out another fat load out of them.
He's trying to get another Cox joke in there.
Yeah. So it's almost like they're disregarding their original target audience, which part of the whole thing for 5th edition when they came out with 5th edition D&D was to make it simpler and easier for kids to play and do.
Mm-hmm.
To change their target audience from like 20s, 30s and up to younger to get the younger generation. Now they're saying, "Oh, we're going to increase the cost of it. We're going to target our older base." So it's like, "Oh, so the whole intent for this edition you're going to throw out the window because it's like, oh, we don't care about the young people anymore. We want the older people because they have the money."
Right there. Right there is exactly the point.
Uh, so I think they're just digging them. I mean, you got people like me who ditched them already a couple of years ago with some of the stuff they were saying they were doing. Like the whole, they were equating orcs to black people.
Yeah.
That pissed a lot of us off. It's like, what do you mean? Because it's like, oh, the racists are saying that orcs are black people. It's like, no one is saying that except you. So who's the real racist here?
The thing is, and especially talking about Hasbro, the problem is it feels very much like they kind of have a monopoly on that corner of the of that corner of the market, specifically for toys and that, for sort of the age of sort of preschool, sort of infant age, because it's like a majority of the companies that you see, like Mattel, etc., will probably license something from Hasbro. Hasbro are making a fucking killing. They basically have the monopoly on
But they're
infant and preschool
destroying
toys.
that. They're destroying that by saying they don't care about the younger audience. Mattel and Lego are going to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
None of them are having the
Which is kind of
the
ironic
PR
considering.
issues that Hasbro is. So Hasbro is going to be driving off their customer base, going to drive it
I
right
gotta
into the open
say,
arms of Mattel and Lego.
it's a little bit ironic though. Lego stepping up to the infant market when Lego literally has on every single one of its packaging, do not let under threes play with this, as small parts may cause choking hazards. and yet somehow, some way, they're going to end up cornering
Lego
that
does
market.
make stuff for little kids. They just use bigger blocks.
Oh yeah. Like Duplo,
they do.
isn't it? It's like Duplo, the bigger blocks, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Lego does have stuff for them that young.
Yeah.
So it's like no, Lego's already in that market.
It's
like we're just building the foundations.
I'll be honest, Hasbro at this point, they're kind of like the Disney of you know, of that sort of those sort of products.
Okay, I'm going to use that to segue to the next article because that's actually a really good one.
Which one's the
so
next
you know
one?
how you the raid.
The raid, yes. We love the raid.
So I'm going to use that to segue into the other one because you know how
and now a segue into our sponsor.
Disney is notorious for their lawsuits against people who use their product without permission. Well, Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro, recently, like last month, so we were a little late in doing this one, but they hired the Pinkerton Detective Agency to execute a raid on a guy who had somehow acquired, through actual legal means, he went to the store and paid for the product of at the time, unreleased Magic the Gathering set of cards.
Okay, just to interrupt Redneck a second here. Neon, you are probably thinking of Pinkertons from Red Dead Redemption 2. That's exactly what Redneck turned around and told me when he explained the article to me when he introduced it to me earlier before the show. Just
yes.
saying.
That is the same agency. The Pinkertons have been around since the 1800s. They are still in business. They still have a bad reputation.
Yep.
And yes,
funny,
that is who Wizards of the Coast hired to go beat on this guy's door and say, hand over the stolen property.
Oh, Neon says he's seen this story. Neon, yes. Would you like to come on? I'll actually make this as a one-time offer for you. Would you like to come on and discuss this with us? Because if you've seen the story, you already know what's going to be said, and I feel like your insight would probably be useful.
I mean, come on, let's go. The cards, $5,000 for me, can't turn myself in. But yeah, Neon, do you want in on this?
I'll invite him, and if he wants to accept it, he can. You can accept it using the mobile app, Neon.
Yeah, come on in.
I've just gotta move some bits around because at the minute me and Redneck are in the middle of the screen.
We can get Neon's thoughts on the subject we'll follow this with also.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
Although the only good news is AI is not involved in that one. Not yet, anyway.
No, not yet.
Not yet. It's possible.
It is. It's very possible. Very possible.
I wouldn't put it past, especially with a writer's strike and people willing to accept AI written scripts. I have to go back and reread that article, but it was kind of nuts. I'm like, wait, there's a writer's strike and the writers are okay with AI being involved. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
this doesn't seem like you're doing this in a smart way.
It is very bizarre. All right. Slot 3. All right. I just need to make sure that you're coming through on the stream. So please hold. Yeah. Yes, push guest. I'm gonna push you to the hole, Neon. Hello, Neon. Hello, Neon. You might need to unmute yourself.
I was gonna say it's showing mic muted. Warning, connection is unstable. I'm not sure if that's the connection or the person.
Returning guest to queue in 23 seconds. Oh yeah.
No, don't return the guest. We need him to make fun of him.
Yeah. Neon, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? I confuse. You should just be able to accept it while you're on your phone. But you gotta stay in it. All right, Retro Neon 353 official, getting ready. I am sorry I'm sorry that we are taking a little okay, slot guest into my third slot. Okay, why can't I push him to live?
I don't know.
There.
It's guest star.
Neon, you need to there we go. There we
he
go.
Is.
Hello. My mic probably going to be dreadful.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. First off, Neon, would you like to introduce yourself to as the listeners that are out there listening on the Twitterverse, the Kickverse, and probably
You're
on
the
Spotify?
internets.
Well, my name is Retro Neon, and I am a long-term friend of DJ Carsten. I have been part of the stream team for nearly 5 years now. And
unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately. And
You're also the resident Fear the AI guy.
Yes.
I have not been live for 8 months now, so this is still a bit confusing for me.
It's fine.
Well, welcome. I know this is your first time ever on Nerdz Discuss, actually as a guest. You've been a lot in the chat. You've chat with us a little bit in the stream chat, and I appreciate your input. But I definitely feel like this Magic Raid topic, and especially the upcoming live action remakes one, you're gonna have a lot to talk about there because I know you're very much a Disney buff, aren't you?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I've seen nearly every Disney movie twice.
Only twice. You're
including
slacking.
the
Get those
straight
numbers
to
up.
DVD ones.
Maybe more than twice. I'm just embarrassed to say.
Don't be embarrassed. So Disney movies are good movies.
Well, I've not seen all the sequels because the sequels are shit.
I was gonna say those were the direct to DVD, direct to release. They didn't even get to movie theaters. But you've read the articles on the raid, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, and when I saw it, I was like, "What the fuck are they on?"
I know. I heard about this. I'm like, are you kidding me? They hired the Pinkertons to go after somebody.
Right, what we'll do, Neon, is I'll let Ragnar just quickly cover what the article says, just briefly, and then I guess you two can, as the title says, discuss it.
And then we'll just watch DJ over here get confused. It's like, wait, what?
I mean, it's relating to Magic the Gathering and the Wizards of the Coast, so I don't. This isn't my forte. Nerdiness. This isn't my forte. I'm not into Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. I'm more into like the video gaming and the technical side of things. You know me.
But Magic the Gathering and D&Ds have video games.
But I don't play them because they don't interest me. My point here is I am in Nerdz Discuss. We have three guys. We have three hosts. Okay, we have the guy who's all to do with tabletop games and D&D. We have our video game expert that's only an expert because he's played video games, Apocalyptic, and then we've got the tech guy who is a professional IT guy with the hammer. Yeah, you can't see my hands. Here you go. Professional IT guy who actually did work in IT, so I know a thing or two.
I worked in IT department as well, so I can't say much.
As the resident expert of modern day technologies, we'll say.
Yeah,
Redneck could probably talk to you about the intricate details of like the Pentium 3 and the Pentium 4. If you want to know about the Intel Core i7 13800.
Nobody can make a phone call on the guy who worked on pretty much every hard drive that Dell ever manufactured from the year 1995 to 2005. I know a guy who worked on and tested and worked with both IBM
I might
and Dell.
have something interesting for you there. You just talk.
Yeah, I know a guy who worked on all of those as a technician for every hard drive that came off the lines for those. So I know a guy or two who was involved in that. Literally worked for IBM and Dell. So, in fact, I have a stash of hard drives spanning 2 decades in age. So yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff as well. Although I don't know where the hell DJ ran off to. Did we scare him off?
No. So, I haven't got it up here. It'll be downstairs. It'll be in my shed with all the other stuff. Okay. I have a stack of hard drives about this high of
That's
all
it?
the Dell hard drives.
That's it?
That it doesn't look that big on camera.
Is it just the laptop drives, or is
shy.
that the desktop drives?
Oh no, these are desktop drives, so the 3.5
Okay,
inch ones.
so here's the thing: desktop drives, laptop drives. I have that much on both.
Oh yeah, because
I've got a case of drives in the original, like, you know, when they shipped out a case of drives, they had all the dividers. I have that.
Oh geez.
I have the literal cardboard case with plastic dividers that you slotted the
Hey, I
hard
can
drives
say to
into.
my friend that I know someone who made my drive.
Yeah, so I have a case of drives up there.
Anyway, let's return to the WOTC.
Let's go back to Pinkertons. So, according to this article, which DJ you can share with Neon if he doesn't already have the article.
Neon, do you want the article up? I don't know if it'll kick you from the call though, unless you're on your phone for the call and then you can access it on your tablet or vice versa.
I'll get my phone.
All right, no worries. I'll send it over to you on Discord then.
No, I've not got Discord on my.
I'll send it to you by text then. Fucking hell.
Jeez. I mean, you can also use carrier pigeon.
That
still won't arrive for another week yet.
No, I use Foxes that have
he's from down south, and it's not the winter yet, so they're not migrating for the winter.
Shut up, you bellend.
I was gonna say, hold up, down south, dude. That's what, an hour drive for you?
Yeah, but the birds aren't migrating to the south for the winter yet, so you know the carrier pigeon will just get confused.
You gotta.
I'm trying to make a joke here. Stop trying to make me feel dumb.
No, I'm just laughing because your definition down south, and I'm like, you realize I can drive from the halfway point of Texas.
Yes, I know. The whole size of the UK is about the same size as Texas as a whole. Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, down south, I'm like, how far is that even? Like, how far is that?
I think last time I checked, he's about 300 miles away from me.
Oh, I drive that far for concerts. That's easy.
I'm having a look. Hold on.
That's not that bad. Wait, is it 300 kilometers or 300 miles?
I think it's miles. Hold on. I'll get you the exact thing.
I'm curious. While he looks that up, I'll start describing some of this article. According to, I'm going to skip the guy's name just to be nice. According to a YouTuber who runs a YouTube channel, Wizard sent the Pinkertons to his home to retrieve a selection of unreleased cards. He had somehow acquired a selection of boosters and showed them on his YouTube channel, resulting in a reveal about 75% of the limited release set. Within a week, he said the Pinkertons were knocking on his door and demand he turn over all the cards from the set. He had released videos on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the agents arrived on Saturday morning. So these guys were on his butt fast. According to Wizards, the company sent an investigator, quote, as part of an investigation into the unauthorized distribution and disclosure of embargoed product. And only after, quote, several phone calls went unanswered, unquote, the investigator of the company says, quote, visited him and asked that he reach out to us as part of our investigation and return the embargoed product and packaging.
Okay, so if I walked, it would take me 41 hours.
And
it's
how
about
long
100.
driving?
It's about 124 miles.
Oh shit!
And that is that's 200. That's 2 hours and 26 minutes if you go straight down the M1.
That's not that hard.
Well, the M1's literally the longest road in the UK because it literally stretches from like Scotland down South London.
Cool.
Fun fact for you though. There you go.
Interesting. The YouTuber confirmed the statements he made in the video, and with additional context stated, as soon as my wife answered the door, they aggressively asked for me by my full name, announced themselves as the Pinkerton Agency, which I'm very familiar with their reputation, and said they were there to recover, quote, stolen goods. After my wife asked them to wait outside, he says they forced themselves, at least partially opening the door, preventing her from closing the door all the way. Eventually, he got them to move everyone outside, and they, I guess, calmed it down because they were acting very aggressive at the start. He also, at some point, alleges that the treatment of the agents made the wife cry. So it's like, they were being apparently very aggressive and probably hostile about this. Of course, Wizards strongly refutes this depiction of events, which contradicts both the report from the investigation as well as the conversation between the individual and the Wizards of the Coast representative after the interaction in question. So they're saying, we did nothing of the sort. We did not approve any such things, and denying it while he's saying, like, these guys were aggressive. According to the YouTuber, the agents continued to claim that he was in possession of, quote, stolen property, and that if he didn't hand over the product immediately, they would escalate the situation to local law enforcement. So in other words, hand it over or we call the cops.
Yikes.
They claimed copyright infringement and said they could face between 1 to 10 years in jail, and that this whole thing could result in up to $200,000 in fines plus all legal fees.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And that's for illegal poker for some cards.
Yes, and it's like, according to him, he literally went out and bought these from a distributor. He actually he did everything legal.
Are you playing Minecraft right now?
Paid the money and got the stuff.
Sorry, Neon, are you playing Minecraft right now?
No, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom.
I just actually saw an ad for that on this website.
You can't put it down for 5 seconds. He's like, no, I still need to play the game even if I'm in the middle of an interview.
It's addicting, okay? Leave me alone.
No, we won't. Yeah. Apparently, the Pinkertons claimed this was their second time trying to get hold of him as they came to his house on Friday, but nobody was home. They also began door knocking at the homes of his neighbors, asking for information about him and that they had a, quote, had an appointment with him.
Mr. Morgan, it's the Pinkerton Detective Agency. You have some cards of ours.
I was waiting for him to say something like that. Just me knocking on the door casually.
Motherfucker. Oh no,
that's in, bitch.
That's too nice. You got
Oh,
you gotta
okay.
do the fist to the door.
Oh, my mic is actually, it's peaking that much that it's automatically compressing it.
It's auto muffling, yeah.
My mic doesn't peak. They've got a shit mic. Whee!
No, your mic can still peak. I just have a compressor on mine so that I don't sound blown out.
I just banged my fist on the wall and that hurt. Ow.
Congratulations. You fucked up.
Not as much as idiot as Hasbro, though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know this, but this article was actually updated with the notes that this is not the first time Witches of the Coast have hired the Pinkertons. Apparently, they hired them back in 2017 as well. That one was for an actual theft, though.
Oh.
Sent out to investigate the theft of an uncut sheet of foil cards for a then upcoming major expansion. So, that they actually did legitimately send them out after someone for theft. Originally, this time they sent him out after a guy who didn't steal a damn thing. He just bought them from a retailer who oopsed and released them like 2-3 months in early.
Yikes.
So Dion, this is the article. What say you?
What say you, ho?
Oh, visiting
Idiot.
nerd.
Absolute idiots. They spent money on a agency that is basically known for their reputation to get what they wanted when they could have easily just sent a fucking email out saying, hey, we actually sold you some cards. Can we have them back, please?
Oh, they claimed they tried to call the guy repeatedly, but from an unlisted number, which in modern age means nobody's going to freaking answer it.
Exactly.
And according to everything else, they didn't send any text messages. They did not leave a voicemail. So it was just a call from an unknown number that didn't connect and nothing else.
They could have given him like a 10-day warning or something, but no.
I mean, they could have left a freaking voicemail.
Exactly,
They
that
could've.
too. They just walked up to his house one day with a bloody
Bam, bam,
group of
bam.
people.
The dog
Pinkertons,
walked
open
up
up!
to the lemonade stand and he said to the man running the stand,
Pay up.
pay up, motherfucker.
Hand over the stolen goods. I ain't got no stolen goods. Well, then
What I
we're
don't
gonna have a
understand
problem.
is, right? What I don't understand is, if there were cars that were supposed to be released 3 months ago, what the fuck were they doing in the shop to begin with?
That's the part nobody can answer of the fact of he bought them from a distributor. They weren't supposed to be released for like he got them in. I think it was I think they said he got it in March. Let me go back and see if I can find out. The expansion was to be revealed at the beginning of May. He acquired them prior to that. It's not actually giving any specific dates, although I think he bought them in like March or April. So he got them 1 to 2 months early somehow. Because he says he's paid about $4,000 for all of it. So he
That still doesn't answer.
purchased them
That still doesn't answer what
legitimately.
they're doing in the shop early. Like things like that would be released like a week early at that, not months
No,
early.
actually, no, it's not unusual for a distributor
To be
for the
loved
product to
by
go to the distributors.
anyone.
It then goes to the stores. They sit on it for a month, so that way they can make sure they have all the inventory ready for the release event. That's actually not unusual. It is unusual for some dumbass to go, "Oh, this is reserved," and they put it out.
Yeah,
Is it bad that as soon as you went and said it's not unusual, my first thought in my head was Tom Jones?
Yes.
What about my uncle?
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Oh, that Tom Jones. I was gonna say I legitimately have an uncle named that. So yeah. Yeah, both my uncle and my dad share names with singers.
Oh. Yikes.
Which makes things interesting. It's like, oh yeah. Like, hey, dad, you know you have a doppelganger around the same name as you that's a singer? He's like, yep.
Did he know that it's not unusual?
Yeah. But it's just like that's the thing that's not addressed in this article. Also, it's the fact they state there was an embargo on the cards. I'm like, hold on. How do you have an embargo on product that's not even released?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because if there's an embargo on it, it shouldn't have even gotten to the distributor at that point then. But they claim it was an embargoed product.
Embargoed my ass.
Exactly. So I was like, where does this come from? Because they claim stolen and embargoed, and it's like, no, here's the receipt. I paid for it. Here's the source. Go talk to them. I don't. This is.
The only thing that's embargoed is their fucking brains, Jesus.
But it was just like, they immediately went after him instead of like, it's just, yeah, like you said, it's like they could have at least legitimately tried to contact him. But it was just like, oh, we're gonna make a phone call. We're not gonna send you a text. We're not gonna leave voicemail. We're just gonna be like, hey.
It's 2023. If you answer an unlisted number, then you're weird and you're probably going to get scammed.
Exactly.
Probably. Oh, there's 3 of them now. There is indeed Wolfie. There is a me, there is a redneck, and there is a Retronion.
Hello.
A what?
A Retronion. So basically, in my stream, we raided a guy called the Ninja Wolf, and Neon was with us, and obviously his name is Retro Neon, but the Ninja Wolf pronounced it as Retronion. And then he started singing Retronion, do 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 do, Retronion, do 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 do. So yeah, it became a bit of a meme. It was funny though.
No.
It was funny though.
Yeah, and Wolfie's like, oh, there's 3 of them now. Yes.
Yeah, there's 3 of us.
You're late to the party. But yeah, when I saw this of like that it wasn't the first time they hired him, like, wait, there was a previous incident?
Yeah.
Yeah, they hired John Marston because he's found a Monopoly board that he shouldn't have.
But why would you get the Pinkertons?
I have no idea.
It's just
Maybe they were
it's
just
not unusual to be loved by anyone.
It's not unusual to make stupid mistakes.
Not anymore.
Sadly. But it's just like, why? Ugh.
Nothing better to do, apparently. That's why.
Yeah. All right. Now we can switch over to other things that cause us to question and ask, why?
Why, Delilah? I don't know why that was the first thing that came into my head.
Jeez. Why, oh, why? Must Disney make every movie they've ever made into a live action?
Yeah.
Oh, I could go on for hours about this one.
That is exactly what we want you to do, except not for hours, but within a decent amount of time.
There is one that I severely question them doing, even though I've heard they're going to do it, and I'm like, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea.
I'm intrigued. Who?
Bambi.
Who?
Bambi.
Oh, Bambi.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh,
can you imagine the fucking Peter are gonna go ape shit on that?
Oh,
Bambi's dead. Oh, no deer were harmed in the making of this movie. We fucking killed the poor bastard.
Bambi's mother is like, what are you gonna do? Get an actual deer and then have it die, or show pictures of a dead deer?
It's fine. Just go film it in the south of America. I'm sure there's plenty of roadkill deer already dead there.
I mean, yeah, but that's not the point.
So yeah, let's quickly talk about some of the movies we are to expect, and some of the ones that we have already. I say we've already got.
Yeah, some of which have come out. One of which just came out, and that is The Little Mermaid.
I think the thing is, we don't need to just discuss recent as well, because there was the Lion King one that they did more recently. Obviously, they're doing a sequel of Mufasa, which is one that's coming in soon.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. Obviously, Cruella as well. The first Cruella.
There's a second one in development.
Yeah.
Jungle Book. There's a second one in development.
Yeah.
Aladdin, second one in development as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've seen a couple on this list, and I'm like, okay, live action ones could actually be that'd be very interesting, to say the least. I think definitely very interesting.
Some of which have been done. Some of these on this list, though, have been done a few times, like Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood. That like the thing is,
How
if
many
it was a
live-action
remake
Robin
of
Hoods
the
are there?
Disney specific story, because just remember, a lot of the Robin Hood stories, while the premise is always the same, the storyline changes slightly for each one.
Yes.
And that's primarily because of obviously the Disney copyright. They don't want to get sued by Disney.
I mean, I think my favorite is still Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I have no thing. But yeah, just quickly to talk about it, starting with 2016's live action The Jungle Book, Disney has been steadily reworking their back catalog of animated features into new CGI-laden live action offerings. In 2017, Beauty and the Beast grossed over $1.2 billion at the global office, while The Jungle Book was met with very favorable reviews upon its release in 2016 and pulled in an impressive $966 million worldwide. Aladdin earned $1 billion after mass skepticism. Cinderella, Maleficent, and Pete's Dragon have also seen success. And while initially the thought of Disney remaking nearly their entire back catalog was worrying, most fans are now looking forward to seeing their favorite characters again. This is just as well since Disney currently has several live action remakes in the works, which we're going to discuss, and there are a variety of spin-off sequels and reinterpretations in various stages of development. First off, let's just talk very, very quickly. I don't know. Have you guys seen Beauty and the Beast? Have you seen Aladdin, The Jungle Book? Have you seen any of those? Have you seen the live action ones? Even the Lion King as well.
So I'll admit the only one I've seen off that list is Aladdin. I actually kind of liked it. I didn't realize they actually redid Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon was a hybrid. It was a live action and an animated.
Yeah. I think the thing is, I think my general feeling about remaking a lot of the Disney classics from animated to live action is if it is predominantly centered around humans as the characters, it makes perfect sense to do live action remakes of them because it fits so well. But it's things like The Jungle Book, The Lion King. What's the other one that was redone as well?
Mulan.
Mulan, yeah, that's not on the list.
Mulan.
But yes, Mulan was redone. Although I chose not to watch that one. I was originally very intrigued by it.
That was it. Dumbo. I absolutely hated the live action remake that they did of Dumbo.
I haven't seen that.
And the thing is, if it's animals, I think the animated one, it's got a certain quirk that you can't quite have with live action. Whereas when it's humans, whereas with humans are better at acting than animals. Yep. You know, and I know they're turning around and saying a lot of the animals are CGI and things like that, but there's only so much you can do with CGI. You know, you can get it to look as realistic as possible. You can get expressions and things like that to look at as good as possible. But in my eyes, it's the original animation that they went and did with the original, like the Jungle Book, etc. That it's just got that quirkiness. It's like Baloo when he's dancing to Bare Necessities. That sort of dance
there's
that
a comedy
you get
to it as well.
Yeah. And you can't get that trying to convert it into a live action because a lot of people look at it and go, it's a bear. It shouldn't be doing that. Whereas if you look at an animated version of a bear, it's like, oh, that's cute. A load of different bears do it. If you've got a full-on fucking grizzly bear just start dancing in the middle of nowhere,
that's terrifying.
It's gonna freak you out.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see it in real life. Why would you want to see it at the movies? You know, so the live action human remakes, I'm all for. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for those. The ones that are solely around animals or have a majoritively animal casting, no, I think they should just keep it as it is.
Yeah, to use the most recent one, Little Mermaid, I was very suspect on that just because it's like you have like all your sea-based animal characters. If you're gonna make those realistically, how's that gonna work?
Yeah.
Flounders are not pretty things to look at.
It's definitely one of those things. Neon, what's your thoughts on like the Little Mermaid? We'll start off with the Little Mermaid, but what are your thoughts on the Little Mermaid live action?
Well, I haven't actually seen the movie, but the trailer doesn't look terrible. However,
The lighting,
I feel like
shit.
I feel like the water physics just doesn't sort of fit in the trailer itself. That's the thing. I don't know why. It just feels like they're off a little bit.
Yeah,
Like human hair shouldn't flow that way in water. It shouldn't be going down. It should be everywhere in the water. It should be going up, down, sideways.
Yeah, but this is where I feel like that's where the sort of CGI aspect of it all comes in, because it's not necessarily the trying to make it look more lifelike. It's trying to sort of bring a sort of more human interpretation of the original animations. And it's like in the original animations, the hair didn't fly out all over the place. It was quite static. And the whole idea of the Little Mermaid is she lives underwater. Nothing really affects her. She lives underwater as much as like she would on land.
Yeah, it's the moment you try to add the realism to it that it breaks it.
Yeah.
I was actually reading some reviews about people talking about Echo. Oh, I didn't do it that time. Damn it.
But yeah, sorry. Continue, Redneck.
Some of the reviews I was reading for The Little Mermaid, like I haven't watched it. I'm not going to watch it. I have no interest in it. I watched Aladdin because a buddy of mine talked me into it, and he actually had an extra ticket. I'm like, okay, I'll go see it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by that one. But for Little Mermaid, I just don't have an interest in it. Like nothing against any of the cast, any of the crew. I just don't have an interest in live action of Little Mermaid. But what I've been told is there's a lot of it that didn't feel right, like the water physics and all that was throwing people off. Some of the changes, like the realistic animals that are the friends, like the flounder and the crab, it was like that was throwing people off. There was this weird disconnect of reality, the animation, and then what they tried to do, and it just didn't work. Now what I have heard is some of the best parts of the movie were actually revolving around the main character. Been heard that she did a phenomenal job. The actress did a very good job. And they said like that she was like the highlight and best part of the movie, but the rest of it is just like it didn't work.
Yeah.
So from what I'm hearing, it's one of those you have a case of you have a good actress who does a great job, but the movie lets them down.
Yeah, it's I don't know exactly what it is. Like those that are watching on YouTube can just see it in the background between us all right now. Just the Little Mermaid trailer just playing. There's no sound, obviously.
It looks so dark.
It looks so dark at that point, but it's like
even a horror movie, almost like how dark it was for a lot of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like they're trying to add too much realism to it. It's almost like they're trying to, rather than remaking it and sort of writing it to sort of fit with live action, it feels like they're just taking the animated movie and just going, here, act it out like it's a play of some form.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I don't like. I'm all for making remakes. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like,
as long as they're done right.
Do we need it? Do we need them to be acting like it's a play, or do we need them to sort of rewrite it to sort of meet a different standard? Because that's the thing. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, when all these animation ones came out, the stories were written for children. They were written for animation. That's why they're all colorful. But now with them doing this, their main target audience is really sort of our age, really. Like, I've seen some of the certificates for some of them, and some of them are getting higher ratings than what the animated components are getting. What the animated counterparts have had. So it's like, instead of trying to get them to act it, rewrite it, but for a live action standpoint. Like, not, don't try and get it to be like a play, so to speak.
Yeah. It's just
It's like taking Shakespeare's works and, we'll say Romeo and Juliet, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, absolutely great, okay? Can't fault the Romeo and Juliet that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, okay? Absolutely brilliant. But it's like turning around and basically taking that idea of a great work of art that was originally destined to be one thing, but then basically trying to take that one thing and copying it, but in a different way.
like
you don't
trying
want
to
to
make
do
Romeo
that.
and Juliet and turn it into a TV show.
Yeah. And it's like Romeo and Juliet, the like with the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, it was rewritten from the ground up to sort of reflect more of the movie lifestyle. For example, the swords were replaced with guns that were named as swords. They added more elements that made it a bit more true to life rather than it being just a play. And I think that's what they're doing a lot of with The Little Mermaid, is they're trying to sort of reenact the animation rather than creating a new movie that is live action based.
Yeah, instead of reimagining it, they're trying to stick to the original, which doesn't work. That's just my opinion. You can do a remake that's a reimagining or a recreation of it, or not a recreation, but a reimagining. But just trying to one for one recreate it does not work, because the things you can do in animation you can't do with a live action.
Yeah. Ghost Hand in the Twitch chat right now says, in all honesty, if they committed with the play aesthetic and tone it, would be more it would be more interesting. It feels like a weird middle ground, and absolutely right. They need to go one way or another. It's not go one way with one portion of it, but then half-ass it everywhere else. It's either all or nothing, in my opinion. You've either got to go balls to the walls or just don't bother.
It really is that weird middle ground of like, they tried to do this and this and this and this, but all they get is the unhappy middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say something, right? So you know how they remade Beauty and the Beast, right? And it from the original to a nice remake. I like what they did with it. I like that they made the person who was Gaston's sidekick the same voice actor as the animated one. But my downside, right, of the movie was the people that were turned into objects. They don't look fun. They look creepy.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel that kind of goes off of what Ghost Hand's saying in the Twitch chat. Also, the hyper-realistic animal design didn't work in Lion King, and it doesn't work here. May as well do a Roger Rabbit and do realistic humans and animated animals. And I'll be honest with you, I completely agree with that. It's like my earlier comment earlier. If they were doing live-action remakes and it was primarily a human-based cast, that would translate really great for live action, because humans can act like there's no tomorrow. We saw it with Emma Watson, okay, in Beauty and the Beast. She can fucking act, okay? But the problem is when you start getting CGI artists that are trying to recreate animals, and it's like, no.
Yeah, because the talking cupboard, right? I found that as a fun character in the animated one, but the remake, she just freaked me out. She was horrifying.
This is the thing.
Appropriate for a horror movie.
Yeah, you're effectively converting it from a childhood classic that everybody absolutely adored, and you're stepping it up to something that is really going to appeal to adults. And that's kind of where you're going. It would be even more artistic, daring, do stop motion animals. That would be neat. Yeah.
That would be a whole different way of doing it. Yeah. And yeah, Pete's Dragon was one of those. It was like you had all the humans were real. Everything was set in a real place. It was all live action, but the dragon itself was like cartoon animation, and it worked. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? People, obvious cartoons. It worked. Space Jam, it worked.
Scooby-Doo kind of worked as well.
Yes. This 100% live action CGI doesn't.
I have to say, that first Scooby-Doo movie that they did, it was absolutely brilliant. The level between live action and animation, the CGI that they added in there, that was a nice thing. And this is what I was saying earlier about how they need to stop trying to reenact it as if it was a play and start rewriting it to be sort of live action, because that's exactly what they did with the Scooby-Doo movie. They rewrote it, and they sort of went, okay, we're trying to go live action here. We need to come up with something different. Written by James Gunn, curiously enough. Scooby-Doo, that is. Thank you for that. That's very interesting.
I forgot what I was going to say.
But yeah, that was a live action with a cartoon, like it was CGI, but it was more cartoony animal, and it worked.
Yeah.
So it's like they have the formula. You do everything real, except the obvious cartoon stuff is cartoon, and it works.
So let's just quickly go down some of the upcoming ones that we've got. So we've got first up on the list, we've got Snow White releasing on March 22nd, 2024.
I will say this: Snow White, I think they've been done like a few adaptations or live actions of it previously. None by Disney though. So this could be interesting to see how they do it. This one has potential.
Going back to what Ghost Hand was saying about the hyper realistic animal design, from what we were saying as well, I feel like if they went for the realistic animal design here, I feel like it would ruin the whole aesthetic of the movie.
Yeah. But
because the thing is, you don't want a really, really nice, pretty woman, going up, flouncing around, singing, dancing, acting like Snow White, and then all of a sudden, a big ass grizzly bear just shows up. It's like it doesn't feel like Snow White at that point. It feels more like it's I don't know, like a horror parody that they've gone and done.
Yeah, it's Snow White and the way to not get killed.
Yeah, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty are the ones that can work. They are more grounded tales, and if they can go for a more Grim Brother style, that would be cool. Yes.
Yes, that's one of those can work. They can legitimately work. Now, you probably can't do it a one-for-one shot. You're probably going to have to play a little bit with it, reimagine some spots to make that realism work. But I agree. Yes, you can do this one.
Yeah.
Next one on the list, I'm not
There's
sure
been
how
there's been a lot of controversy on this latest one, specifically about the CGI that was done on one of the title characters. That's Lilo and Stitch, scheduled for May 10th of next year. It was hit a lot with controversy for the same exact reason that Sonic the Hedgehog did.
Oh yeah. Oh, there was additional controversy. There was some more. And Neon probably knows about it.
But I don't, but they can't remake Lilo and Stitch. No, they can't.
Yes.
Surely not.
So
there are some that don't need it. Like, if you were going to do something, make a sequel, continue the animated series. Because they did a full-blown animated series on Disney years ago, and they stopped it.
I think they did a second movie. They
did another two. So they had Lilo and Stitch 2, and then you had Leroy and Stitch.
Yeah, but so one of the controversies that sparked up and went nuts on Twitter was that there was originally no casting for Cobra Bubbles. So you remember the big guy in the suit with the bald sunglasses guy, like the social worker that was just like. There was originally no casting for him.
Yeah.
They made a new social worker character who was never in the original movie, and that person was cast. But there was no Cobra Bubbles listed in the casting.
It does say here. Finally, Courtney B. Vance plays social worker Cobra Bubbles. Billy Magnuson signed on for an unknown role.
Yes, it was only after everything went ballistic on Twitter that Courtney B. Vance was cast for Cobra Bubbles, but they had everybody cast for that already, and there was no cast listing for Cobra Bubbles. So
I'll be honest, I'm interested to see where they go with a live-action Lilo and Stitch movie on the basis of we've seen how good Sonic the Hedgehog was.
Yes.
And Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like, yes, there had to be a bit of a pushback from the public and stuff like that. But that's what makes things better. Public feedback makes things better in the long run. And if they can make Stitch go the way that Sonic did, I think the public will be very, very happy to receive Lilo and Stitch as a live-action remake. I really do.
I think this is one of those that if they do it right, it can work. But Actually, we got another post from Ghost Hand, which is super lame because Cobra Bubbles is a super great representation of social worker because he's stern but lowers his guard several times, telling Nani that he just wants what's best for Lilo's healthy growth. Yes, Cobra Bubbles is probably one of the most loved characters in Lilo and Stitch. I mean, he is honestly my favorite.
I was gonna say I can't really talk about. Obviously, you're saying there, Ghost Hand, about him being a super great representation of social worker. I haven't had personal experiences with social workers in my lifetime, so I can't really make a comment out on that. But from what I saw from the character in that, there was definitely it kind of seemed like a, you know, sort of like a father figure, but he had to work on that. You know, he was being paid to be like a father figure, so it was kind of like it was more of a middle balance between the two, which I like to see.
Yeah, he was a very good character. It's just like I said, I think this one, Lilo and Stitch, has potential of being good. Like you said, with Sonic, there's potential of, if they put in the right work, they can do the CGI for Stitch and some of the other stuff right. My concern is, can they still bring some of the same energy and emotion the original had, like with the acting, the emotion and all of that, and the character interaction? Can they do it the same way they did it in the original animation?
In my opinion, no.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I think one of the problems is I think one of the problems here while we're discussing this is actually we're looking very objectively at comparing it with the original, you know, with the original animated thing. And I think, I'll be honest, I think on one hand that's probably wrong of us to do, because just imagine if these movies came out before the animated originals. Like, we wouldn't really have something to compare it off and base it from. And to sort of try and compare it against those original animations is, you know, it's going to be, you know, we're going to do it. It's going to be something that everyone's going to do because, you know, they exist. They're already there. But the problem is too many people are going, just leave it as an animated thing, leave it as an animated thing. But it's like, you know, look at Sonic the Hedgehog. If they left it to just be like the animated TV series or stuff like that, I don't think we would have ended up delving into the kind of story that they did on the live action screen with Sonic the Hedgehog, with the expanded story and things like that. Who knows? Lilo and Stitch as a live action remake could spark a new sequel. It could spark a new story arc.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it can't do that. Like I said, my concern, and this is just some rumor stuff I've been hearing, is that they're going to change how some of the character interactions and how things are, mainly to do with, because of some political and social issues involved. They're not going to go with like how some of the original interactions were. I mean, they've already cast a second person as another like social worker type character, which brings the question of, why are we getting two different social workers?
It could be a minor tweak to the original story.
I don't know, but it's one of those.
And the thing is, we won't know until
we just don't know.
Until it's released, we won't fully know what have they done with the core story.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they can bring the same feeling and energy from the original. Like, again, we've mentioned it before. You can change some stuff, reimagine it, and it still be good. But you have to do it right. And if they can bring that same energy, that same feel the original had, even if they have to tweak stuff, that's great.
I feel like if we
just like delivers flat, then
yeah. It's like if we go back to The Lion King as one of the core examples, you know, I think more specifically with The Lion King, when you look at it, if it was built off of a similar sort of framework to say Life of Pi, because Life of Pi was the biggest movie of its time, because it was, you know, because of the fact of the tiger, you know, just the whole essence of the movie. It was one of the biggest movies of its time. If it followed the same suit as Life of Pi in that sort of aspect, I think it would have been great. But the problem was, because we were so accustomed to the animation, it ruined the movie a hell of a lot. And I think that's going to be the same for a lot of it. A lot of it is going to be, you know, it's going to be ruined because we've had these original animations.
Don't truth Disney with nuisance though.
But then again, we can go and look at other live action remakes, or rather movies as well. We could go with Thunderbirds, the 2004 movie Thunderbirds. Okay, that one I feel that made the whole sort of Thunderbirds franchise a whole lot better for me because it felt more real. And something like that, I think, is really, really important. It's like if they decided to go, hey, yeah, we're going to remake Big Hero 6 as a live action movie, I'd be all fucking for that. Because it's something that is more true to life and stuff like that. I think one of the problems with Disney is they're trying to take stuff that is a lot less believable and they're trying to turn it into live action. But if they took something like Big Hero 6 as a prime example, it could be converted into something that's a whole lot more believable and something that a lot of people are going to absolutely love. Like, I have a feeling Big Hero 6, if that ever came out as a live action movie, I can guarantee you a lot of people will fucking watch it. A lot of people loved the animated movie. I have a feeling a lot of people would love the live action if they did it.
But they'd have to cast Dwayne The Rock Johnson if they did Big Hero 6.
I mean, that's not a problem. If you go a bit further down on the list, they're remaking they're doing a live action remake of Moana.
Yep.
Oh fucking! I actually want to see that.
Yeah, he's in there. Since he voice acted Maui, he's literally going to be Maui in the movie. They've already recast and they've already confirmed he is reprising his role as Maui.
To be fair, they do have identical tattoos.
Do you know what? This is what I love because I've scrolled down to the bit here. The Disney live action remakes that have been released so far are inspired by Disney classic films. For the most part, that's Beauty and the Beast as well as The Little Mermaid, both from the Disney Renaissance era. But classics have been the focus. That's why it's a surprise for fans that Moana is being developed for a live action movie. The announcement was made by Dwayne Johnson via social media, who will be reprising his role of Maui in the movie. There's no word if any of the rest of the voice cast will return for the live-action remake. Johnson did specify that the movie will rely on the Polynesian traditions of song and dance to tell the story, so it's very likely the live-action take will be a musical just like the animated version.
I mean, this one I think could easily do live action, much like the others, and they could easily do it well. But like with any of it, we'd have to see how it goes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the thing with a lot of the movies that they've announced for live action remakes, it's gonna be taking it with a bit of pinch of salt and just because the thing is, like I said earlier, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at these movies quite objectively and they're going to be going, the animated ones were really good. And they're always going to be sat there comparing it to the animated ones.
You know who they also need to get for this movie? If they're going to bring in some of the voice actors that did the role, that could easily do the role, they need to bring in Tamora Morrison to reprise his role as well as Moana's father. Because that man is good, and is like, if they're trying to do it like rely on a lot of the Polynesian stuff, he is Polynesian. So he'd be a very good one to bring in for this. And because he is a lot older, he could easily play the father.
Yeah. Moving on slightly, Mufasa the Lion King is effectively, well, I say effectively, it is going to be a live action sequel to the original Lion King. This time touching on the aftermath of the first movie. Basically, a lot of people are saying it's being likened to The Godfather Part 2.
I don't know enough about it to know anything involved in that.
I'll be honest.
I mean, I didn't even watch the first one.
With the way that the first one was a massive letdown, because a lot of people really hated the first remake, the first live action remake that they did, I have a feeling not a lot of people are going to like this one. Because it's going to be effectively be the same animation. It's going to be the same principle, and I think a lot of it's going to ruin the magic for a lot of people with this one, just like the first one did.
I was gonna say, Neon, did you watch the first one?
I did, and I didn't hate it, but I also felt like it was off as well. So
yeah, I think that was the general consensus with a lot of people. Like they were like, cool, it's a live action movie, don't care, but it's really missing something.
It didn't really need to happen, but we got it. But it's not a big deal that we got it, but it's also not a big deal that it happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But talking of other ones, just going down this list, a few that I think are going to be good live action remakes. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think that one is going to be a brilliant one for them to do. Again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If it's a predominantly human cast or human-esque cast, I think it's probably going to do really well with a live action. The Aristocats, I'll be honest, no. I'm no.
Please don't let it be like Cats the musical. Oh God!
I have that would be the horror aspect if it ended up like that.
But the next one that I am really looking
to do that one.
But the next one I'm really looking forward to, and I really do hope does well. And this is primarily because we've seen live action-esque sort of copies of it, sort of. But it'll be nice to see an actual official Disney one, and that's Hercules.
Oh, actually, yeah, that would be good.
Now, Hercules can be very good. Now, my only question is, are they going to keep with the comedy factor that the original animated Hercules had, which was, in my opinion, what made it so good? But how are they going to do that? Like,
unfortunately, we don't know right now because it's very early pre-production right now. So there's been, there's the only things that we know is Guy Ritchie's set to direct, David Callahan's set to write the screenplay, Joe Russo, and Anthony and Joe Russo, who are Avengers Endgame directors, will also be serving as producers for it.
Yeah, Russo brothers usually do pretty good.
Yeah, but like I say again, I think it's predominantly the human aspect of it, and it's like even with like Phil and that, they'll be able to turn them into they're effectively human aspects. And if you want to look at horses, you can look at things like minotaurs and bloody call them from Narnia, fawns from Narnia. The way that they can actually build things like that.
Yeah, I'm also curious how they're going to do Hades with the flaming hair.
Oh,
yeah. Changes with his mood until somebody blows it out, and he's like,
it'll probably be CGI, to be fair.
I know, but that was just part of the whole comedy of it.
No, they need to cast Danny DeVito for that role.
One thing I will say needs to die, and we don't need a live action remake, and we don't need anything more on it, is Peter Pan with the new Tink movie that is meant to be coming. We don't need it. We've seen too many Peter Pan remakes. We've seen live action remakes from Disney themselves relating to Peter Pan. We don't need the story about Tink. It feels like they're trying to milk a cash cow.
That's probably the one they've done the most movies or spin-offs with, I think.
Yeah. Another one as well that I'll say that I really will be looking forward to seeing live action, The Sword and the Stone.
That one could be very interesting.
Especially with the way that CGI and sort of magical effects have come over the years. Yes. I mean, you compare sort of like early Harry Potter to the late Harry Potters, like, start the series to the end of the series, and just look at how much of a transformation there was between the two. And we've come even further since those last Harry Potter movies.
Yep.
I feel like the magical aspect of The Sword and the Stone is not going to be lost at all. In fact, I think it's going to make it feel a lot more real, and I think it's going to dawn a new age of Sword and the Stone fans in little kids. I really do.
I mean, that's one of those. Again, this is one of those that could very easily work.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like, The Sword and the Stone. They actually do it at like the Disneyland parks and stuff like that for little kids to go up and try and pull it up out the stone and stuff. It's not like it's going to be something hard for them to do in a live action movie. Jungle Book 2, no thank you. Aladdin 2, it was all right. I did like the casting with Will Smith as the genie. I did like
I thought
that.
he did a good genie. He had some very big shoes to fill from Robin Williams.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
My popular opinion, but I actually really loved the Aladdin remake.
I liked it. I wouldn't say it was my favorite. Like, if I could take anything, I would gladly take the one with Robin Williams in any day. But
yeah,
unfortunately, we haven't got him anymore, so they've got to look for other actors that can sort of not fill the boots, so to speak, but sort of wear them.
Bring the same energy.
But even then, that's some pretty big shoes. But he did it well.
He did. It was the fact that you didn't lose that sort of spark with the audience, and this is one of the things that I do love about Will Smith is he's very much a versatile actor. He can really do a lot of different styles when he puts his mind into it, because you can go from very, very comedic and very funny with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to going to very serious and very sort of stubborn in Men in Black.
Well,
you know,
also
going from different
Day.
aspects. Yeah, Independence Day as well. You know, it's going from being, it's the fact that he's just a very versatile actor, and I think that's one of the things that made him well for the role, and I think it's one of the good reasons why he was picked to sort of not fill the shoes, but step into Robin Williams' shoes there, because, again, Robin Williams was a fucking amazing actor, had a massive range, so much versatility. He was funny even when he wasn't trying to be. He was just an amazing actor.
Mm.
Yep. He was also an amazing person. There's stuff that one of the things I remember hearing about that he put in as a requirement for all of his contracts is that they had to hire not only local people, but they also had to like find work for some of the local homeless people.
Yeah.
And
yeah, which I love.
Like, if you signed him on, there were like very philanthropic requirements that you had to do.
Yeah, and it's like, look at Mrs. Doubtfire as a prime example as well. Obviously, the key component was with the little girl. They had to try and keep it a secret that Robin Williams was in fact in the suit, because it helped make the experience more real for her.
Yes.
And the expressions that you saw with her in the movie was what she had, and that was one of what Robin Williams is doing. He was like, she's got to believe that this is a real person. She cannot think that I am just wearing a suit, because he wanted to make the magic real, not just for us, but he wanted to make that little girl's magic.
Yep. He was amazing. I mean, he even got in a fight with Disney and almost like blacklisted Disney off his list of people he would work with.
Oh, he's done it with a load of people. I know he's ended up with deals where it came through. Like, I think Good Morning Vietnam, if I remember correctly, with that one, he had a deal go through for it. And basically, he wanted someone specifically to play a certain role in it. And he basically said, if you don't hire this specific person in this role, I am not doing it, end of. And it almost very nearly didn't happen.
Well, with the Disney one, I think it was for Aladdin. He told them, you cannot put me, like an image of me, as the main thing on whatever the movie poster or the movie screen is.
Yeah.
I have to be more of a minor person. You can't have me as the big main attraction.
Well, after all, the movie is called Aladdin, not The Genie.
Yes, they did it anyway, and he was pissed. He actually wrote them off and literally refused to do anything with them. It was only because I think it was like some fans or something like that had asked and requested it that he did it. That he actually went back and did the other Aladdin movies with them. Only because it wasn't for them. It was because the fans loved him so much and they wanted him to be it. Yeah. That's the only reason he worked with Disney after that. Is for the fans, is the fan requests and such.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Although, back on topic, a live action adaptation that has the chance of being absolutely terrifying.
I was actually going to save that one to last because I know exactly which one you're going to mention. I literally had one more one that I think.
Okay, do you want to save the terrifying one for last?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the Black Cauldron might be interesting. They've acquired the
could be
screen
very
rights
good.
for it. Again, I feel like it's very much sort of the same thing as the Sword and the Stone. It's very much that magic around it. It's sort of, you know, that feel of the live action thing will work really well with it.
Yeah. Now this is a little bit of a darker movie compared to the normal lighthearted Disney ones.
Oh yeah.
But I think this is one, like you said, they could do very well. Neon, what are your thoughts for Black Cauldron?
Never seen it, to be honest, so I don't know.
What?
That was very anticlimactic. I thought you were going to release some like big revelation upon us right there. And instead it was, I didn't see it.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Black Cauldron.
I was going to say, if you've watched Disney movies, The Black Cauldron is one of those movies that has definitely come across at one point, you know, at one point in time. Maybe you've not realized that you've watched it, because this is one of the things that I've always noticed, right? I've asked a few people and I've explained like the plot for like the Black Cauldron, and some people have gone to me, that's the Sword in the Stone, isn't it? And I was like, no, it's not.
No.
I was like, they're two very different movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get it
1985.
confused, because the animation style was very, very similar with each other. And it caused a lot of confusion with a lot of
Time frame
people.
wise, they came out in similar. Let me look. Oh no, there's 20 years difference. Sword in the Stone was 63, Black Cauldron was 85.
Yeah. Like the Black Cauldron, it's not what I would classify as a Disney classic, because a Disney classic for me is I would class it as sort of Renaissance era. You know, sort of 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s. But that to me is classic Disney.
I think it was the. Well, I'm not sure. You could say it's the last of that era, but it's definitely a midpoint in that era.
Oh yeah.
Because you had the early ones, and then you had the later ones that came out in like the 90s. But this one was like 85. So it was just very, very different.
Right, Neon. Aside from the one that we mentioned quite briefly earlier, that we're not going to bring up now, because me and Redneck both agree absolutely fucking not.
It's got the potential to, in my opinion, to be as bad or worse than the Aristocrats.
Right. Are there any of these ones that you feel so, you know, what would be your favorite one out of this list for them to turn into a live action remake, and what do you feel like would be the worst? But obviously, please do not mention the B word. And no, I don't mean black.
I was like, I didn't even think. I was like, what is he talking about? Oh,
I'm not
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Sleeping Beauty actually does not sound like a bad one, to be honest. I think I'll actually like that one a lot. Because I loved the original story. I loved how it was, you know, all storied and put together. And I feel like this new one is actually going to bring a bit more of a, you know, a bit more of a, what's the one I'm looking for?
Wait, Sleeping Beauty, you mean Snow White? I think they already did Sleeping Beauty,
that's what
didn't
I meant,
they?
yeah. Snow White is what I meant, yeah. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Just slipped out. Yeah, I feel like Snow White is actually going to be quite a good one to see. Because, you know, I want to see how they're going to, you know, like, play the actors. I don't know. It's just, you know, so I've not done this before. It's very difficult for me.
No, don't apologize. I was going to say, please don't apologize, my dude, because at the end of the day, I know public speaking isn't your forte. You know, you haven't really been involved in sort of this kind of discussion before, and I do appreciate you for coming on. And I'll be honest with you, I'd love to see you turn up as a guest on more episodes, because I feel
Honestly,
like you've got a lot.
It's an honor to be here.
I mean,
but
this is, and what I tell people for this is like, don't think of it as like just public speaking, because this is like like, don't even bother worrying about like anyone watching. This is just a
just think of it like it's your own. Well, yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
like, we're just talking amongst each other. And it's like, if anybody's watching and they're lurking, because I know there's a couple of people lurking, and I'm not going to mention names because, you know, it wouldn't be right of me to mention their names. APOC. But, you know, but, you know, you know, at the end of the day, we're all chatting with each other. It's just us three in the room. If anybody's got any questions or they want to make a comment to what we're saying, like what Ghost Hand was saying earlier, they can offer their input. But as far as we're concerned, we're just chatting, we're just chilling, we're just talking about the obvious things that we, you know, the topics that we've picked, and we're sort of just opening up our conversation to the world, because that's the point of it. It's a conversation. You know, it's not like it's a live stream and we're just turning around and going, here's the news. We're not fucking BBC or NBC fucking or CNN or fucking Fox News or anything like that. We're here to have a discussion. We're here to have a conversation about what is going on. What are our thoughts on it? Just get what's on our mind out there. Because at the end of the day, to someone, I don't know who, but someone, our thoughts are important to them, or their thoughts that they'll sort of listen to and they go, actually, I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's just all for like talk about it.
So Redneck, out of everything on that list, what's your number one live action movie that you would love to see?
That I would love to see. None of it.
Go
I'm
on.
one of
Out of
those
all
who
of
thinks
them.
like the cartoon version's probably the best version. It's going to be almost impossible to top. That being said, of the stuff like that's on this list that I think could be made good and that I would go watch, that's the.
I'm not gonna lie. I'll offer my opinion here. I genuinely think that out of all of them, I think the Sword in the Stone is, or the Black Cauldron, are probably gonna be up there as sort of more bigger picks for you, on the pure basis of it's fantasy. It's that sort of Renaissance sort of magic and stuff like that, which I know you do a lot with, like your D&D and stuff like that. So it sort of matches alongside with that.
Honestly, this one particular one, if they do it right, I would definitely go see it, and that would be Hercules.
Oh, Hercules, yes.
Yes, if they could do it right, I would 100% want to go see that. I've seen multiple versions of Hercules, but basically most any Hercules movie that's come out, I have actually gone and watched, I think. Like, just whether I watched it online, I don't think I've ever watched any of them in theaters, but almost every single one that I've seen was done well one way or another. I think this one as the live action could be very, very good as long as they do it right.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant with any of the remakes because I don't know if they can do it right or they will. But if they do, Hercules would be one of those I would really want to go watch. Like, I'll be honest, Mulan was one of those I was highly, highly interested in going to see until they changed the storyline for it, and then I was like, no. If it had been the original Mulan just done live action and kept that way, 100% I would have been on for that. But when they started changing the story and all of that, I'm like, okay, now it's not even the original Mulan. This is something else completely. So I checked out. Otherwise, I was really all set for that one. Same with Hercules. I'm all set for this until if they do something screwy with it, then I'll check out.
I'll be honest. Hercules is in my top 2, but it's not my number 1. My
Your
number
one's
one.
Aristocrats, isn't it?
No, absolutely not. No, my number 1 is the B. No, I'm kidding. It's not the B word. It's actually Moana.
That one could be very interesting.
I feel like, personally, I feel like Moana probably should have been a live action to start with.
I don't know if it would have gotten the good reception with people in the younger audience if they'd done it as a live action to start. I don't think they could have pulled it off as successfully if they'd done it live action to start.
That's fair. Honestly, that's a fair opinion because at the end of the day, the problem is right now. Obviously, we've got the animated versions that we're comparing with, and it's like I'm trying to sort of think outside of that, and I'm thinking I think Moana would have been, whether it was live action or animated, I think it would have been a good starting ground for them. Either or.
I think animated, it had a much better chance of getting off the ground and doing well.
Oh, especially with the bright colors and popping, especially for kids, because obviously kids they want the latest and greatest. Ah, this is popping. This is big
think of
colors.
the screwiness with the chicken.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that with a live action. But in animated, you can have that chicken look like the derpiest, dumbest chicken in the universe and have it be as a comedy thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that as well live action. Although chickens are incredibly dumb, so you probably could.
Probably.
I think Moana has one of those that's got a lot of potential for doing good. I think there's a couple people like Tamora Morrison. If you're gonna have Dwayne Johnson reprise his role, Tamora Morrison needs to come back. They can probably bring back a lot of the voice actors for this.
All right, I've got one more question then for you guys before we get on to the ultimate worst one on the list.
Oh God.
Okay. Are there any Disney movies that have been created that aren't on this list that you would like to see a live action made from? We'll start with Neon as he's our guest. Neon, what would you pick?
Honestly, I
know it's a very hard one because you've got a very large library to pick from.
There's a lot of movies. There's more than 2.
Let me see Cars as a remake, live action remake.
No.
No.
The Cars movies, they were good, but I definitely feel like those are definitely ones that would never make live action at all.
You know, I'd like to see remade. I'd like to see Up and like live action remade.
Up's a good choice. Do you know what?
I want to see how they make the flying house. That would be amazing to see.
That said, I mentioned a moment ago about obviously Cars and it being a terrible choice. I think another terrible choice there as well would be Monsters, Inc.
Oh God, don't remake Monsters, Inc. as a live action remake.
I was gonna say you want a bad one, Lady and the Tramp. That would probably not work at all. Hardly.
Can you get the dogs
Monsters,
to
Inc.
sit long enough?
Scare children. I mean, it'd make the whole point of the movie, right? But it would scare children.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's several that probably, if they tried to redo as a live action, there would probably be issues.
Like the problem with Lady and the problem with Lady and the Tramp though is there's so many really dark moments where it would end up going from a family friendly movie in live action to being near horror, because it's like, look at the Siamese Cats with the song that they've got. That, as I was growing up, I'll be honest with you, I was scared shitless of that song. I absolutely fucking hated it. And I can guarantee if that got turned into live action, it would scare a whole new generation of kids.
Oh, don't forget Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. If you had problems with Beauty and the Beast and the animated objects in that one, Brave Little Toaster, where that's all everything is, would probably make a good live action horror movie.
You know, I'd actually like to see Ratatouille as well as a live action remake. See how they do
Ratatouille, I feel would be.
I think that one could be done.
That one. The thing is, I think that one would have to be partial. It definitely have to be a partial, in the sense of all of the humans be human, but then you've got obviously I can't remember the name of the fucking rat.
Remy.
Remy.
Yeah, just keep him in his animated state.
So they're
Because-
gonna have to Roger Rabbit it then to keep it.
Yeah, the
good.
hybrid movies. I call it a hybrid because it's live action and it's animation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the
There are several,
hybrids, I definitely think Ratatouille would be an absolutely perfect example for a hybrid. It's the same with Lilo and Stitch, with that being a hybrid as well. This is what I mean. I feel like that Lilo and Stitch as a hybrid would be brilliant. Keep Stitch the way that he used to be.
Okay, I found one that I would like a remake of if they could do it well, but I also found one that could be another like, oh hell no.
Oh, go on. Hit me with a hell no first. Let's hear the hell no.
Bug's Life.
Oh, no.
God,
No. Yeah,
No.
I agree with that one.
I hate bugs. Fuck that shit. No.
See, that's exactly why.
I'll be honest with you. I completely agree with that. So go on. What's your pick? Your good one?
Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
I actually thought about that one earlier, and I thought that would actually be quite good. But I completely forgot what it was called.
The thing is, it's on the same sort of lines as Hercules.
Yes, that's exactly why.
This is. I think that it's almost perfect as a pick. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those that I think could be done very, very well.
I've got two on my list now. I'm thinking of.
Frozen would be a great remake.
Do you know what? That was going to be one of my picks. One of my picks was actually going to be Frozen because the thing is, just imagine, right? All the kids that got brought up on Frozen as an animated movie, right? How many of them have gone to see like the live action sort of like musicals and things like that, and they've bloody loved them?
Oh,
Yeah.
millions.
You know, Disney on Ice with Frozen. Imagine how many kids have gone to see that and they've really enjoyed it. I think Frozen would be an absolutely amazing choice there. But do you know what? I'm going to make a very controversial opinion here with my other one that I think would do really well. And I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, right? But I don't care because I genuinely think that this one would be brilliant. Toy Story.
Yes. Because 3D animation has come a long way since then, and seeing that as a remake would be incredible.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's one that could, but they'd have to. They couldn't do a hyper realistic version of that, I don't think.
Oh no, not hyper realistic. It'd definitely be something like a hybrid for sure.
Yeah, I think that one would have potential. Like we're kind of like how they did Sonic.
Yeah.
If they do all the characters kind of like that, I think that could work.
Because the thing is, when you look at it and you look at things like you look at Woody as an actual physical toy, it's pretty much
as the actual toys.
It's actually like pretty on point with what you would expect like a cowboy to come as. As a sort of doll like that. Buzz Lightyear, the exact same thing. So it's like it's not necessarily that they actually have to do it. It's like things like Slinky, okay?
Yeah,
Slinky, yes, you'd have to animate him because I'm not being funny. It'd sort of be a bit rough on the edges on stuff like that. But characters like Bo Peep, Buzz, Woody, they would be, in my opinion, great to have as like live action toys, like real life toys. But things like fucking hell, Mr. Potato Head would have to be animated. Rex would have to be animated. Slink have to be animated. What's his name? The piggy bank. He would have to be Ham. Yeah, he would have to be animated.
Hum.
But I feel like Toy Story would be an absolute great example of a hybrid there. Oh God, you just shuddered, and I'm intrigued now.
Another one that could be very horror-inducing.
Oh Lord.
I think it's worse than the one that was on the list.
Oh God.
Oh yes.
Come on, hit it with me.
Zootopia.
Oh no.
Oh
That's
yeah.
just that would just
No,
be
no.
that's just the
Wolfie would
first
love
one.
Wolfie and Neon would absolutely love that because they would probably be cast to go into it because it'd just be a bunch of furries running around. Okay.
Yeah,
I know, but my fear is it would be cats all over again.
True.
actually, yeah. Ugh.
That's my fear.
have-
Is you get something like that all over again. I think
I have
Zootopia is
also-
one of those. It's best left alone.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know,
I've
I
got a
think
bad
another one
remake
of my
for you.
top picks actually, I mentioned it earlier, Big Hero 6. Again, one of those movies that I definitely think would 100% benefit from, you know, a live action remake because that could do so well. It's like when I compared it earlier for Thunderbirds. They were dolls, they had been animated, but then you had the live action movie and it was brilliant. Like it brought a whole new sense and a whole new feeling to the whole Thunderbirds universe. I definitely think Big Hero 6 is one of those top ones.
Yeah.
I have a
think
bad
it's
remake
plausible.
for you.
Oh.
The Fox and the Hound. That would be a really bad remake.
No, actually, no, do you know what?
Well,
I
maybe.
actually, do you know what? I actually feel like that one might be a good one to do.
Hmm.
That's one of those that could go either way, I think.
Oh, 100%.
No,
There are
Coco would
some
be
movies that I
amazing.
think could be done well, and there's some that I think could be very cursed.
Hmm.
Do you know what I
Coco
would
would be
love to see?
amazing. Like,
Do you know what I'd
Fox
love
and the
to
Hound, I
see?
think could be done, but
It's not
I just don't
Disney.
know.
Okay, it's not Disney, but I would absolutely love to see this movie either have a sequel or have an animated reboot. Okay. Maybe not an animated reboot, but I'd definitely love to see a sequel to it. Okay. The Borrowers.
Oh,
I would love to
that.
see a sequel to it. I don't even care about the animation thing. It's just such a brilliant. I'm sorry. I don't know why it just came to
Yeah.
my head, but The Borrowers, I feel would be one of the most brilliant sequels for a movie.
Yeah, that's definitely one that could.
you know, it'd be a great live action remake. Encanto.
I think that one's too new to be on their list to do.
No,
Yeah, but
never
then
know.
again, we could say the same thing for Moana as well.
Well, no, Encanto's only been out a year and a half.
I thought it's older than that.
It is
Nope.
actually my favorite movie of all time for Disney now.
Oh, damn,
so.
yeah, you're right. Less than
2021.
2 years old, yeah.
Yeah, no, Moana is like 7 years old.
Do you know what? I'm saying it now. Coco.
Yeah, that's what I was saying as well. Coco would be amazing.
Inside Out, I would love to see a hybrid of.
You know one they could do, but I'm almost afraid it might get screwed up?
Mm-hmm.
The Incredibles.
Do you know what? I was just thinking that. I genuinely was just thinking that.
Because my fear is it would go the way of Fantastic Four, and it's like good premise.
Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. They were just awful movies.
Yeah, it's like that's my fear is like you've got potential, but could it just go bad?
I'll be honest, I have a feeling that something like The Incredibles, you wouldn't be able to do sort of like to the scale of what they do in The Incredibles, like with explosions and stuff like that. It would cost billions to do a live action version of that.
Now they could do, and this is just in my head. Incredibles could go the way of Fantastic Four, or it could go the way of X-Men did. X-Men I thought was really good.
No, I know a lot of people were really, really pissed off with the second Incredibles movie because obviously at the right at the end of the first Incredibles, you get the Underminer, and you think, oh great, the second movie is going to be all about the Underminer, and then literally in the second movie, it was literally like the first 5-10 minutes was the Underminer. Oh great, cool, he's gone. Now it's a whole new story. and it's
Yeah.
I know
They
that pissed a
undermined-
lot of
I
people
never even
off.
saw the second one, to be honest.
They undermined the Underminer.
Yeah.
One that I did see recently, that I was a bit unsure of, but I feel like it's sort of Pinocchio.
I think that one is doable.
I think it's doable, but I think they did a sort of live action one, didn't they?
I think they did. I don't know if it was under Disney, but I think they did.
I think it was Netflix that did it, and I
Yeah.
was just like,
Oh,
oh no,
here's another one that they could do.
it was Disney because Tom Hanks played it because they kind of animated Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think I found another one that they could do, but probably shouldn't. Finding Nemo.
Oh no. I think the problem with Finding Nemo is it's again it's you can't really sort of do a middle ground on that one because in Finding Nemo you haven't really got that many human characters that you can really interact, and it's like even with the actual fish you can't really do much with them except make them realistic, and if you make them realistic then
it ruins it.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Bug's Life would be, because Bug's Life could be almost horror-inducing for people.
It's going to be absolutely.
But it's one of those
one of my biggest fears with Bugs.
They really shouldn't do that. They probably could, but they really, really shouldn't.
Wall-E wouldn't be a great remake either. Wall-E would not be a great remake either, to be honest. Because it would just look the same, just with fat people.
Another one that I feel like would be a really horrible one to do, but at the same time, it depends if they turn it into a hybrid, would be Minions or Despicable Me.
No, I think that one's better off just left alone.
I think with Despicable Me, it would be great as a hybrid and keep the Minions as animated, but that would be it. Like, I don't think it needs to go any more than that. Like I'm not gonna lie. Try and turn the Minions into real life people. It's just gonna be horror inducing.
No.
Yeah. No, let's not.
Well, no, there has. Okay, I will say this. There's been somebody actually did like a little mini clip from Despicable Me, as a live action thing. Like they got a whole bunch of people to dress up in various costumes that were Minion-esque, and then a guy dressed up as
Gru.
And they reenacted a scene from the movie, and it actually worked really well. It was a little weird, but it worked. So I'm like, it's potential, but I really don't think
it's potential. But I'll be honest with you, I feel like it would just work with keeping the Minions as the small animated little characters, because I feel like it's the height thing. That's what the problem is. It's the height thing, because obviously the Minions are meant to be obviously really, really small.
I mean,
there's no way you're putting a child in it.
Get a bunch of midgets, you'll be fine.
Yeah. One that I'll be honest, one that I would love to see, Brave.
The problem you're going to have that one, I think, is going to be the Bears. The Bears is going to be an issue, I think. How do you portray a friendly black bear or friendly grizzly that you're actually the character's mother?
But the thing is, this is what I'm saying with quite a lot of the remakes. A lot of the remakes are getting higher certification levels because they're very, very different in the way that they've been made.
Yeah.
So if Brave was to be made, I don't know, what is it? PG-13, I think, is the closest for you guys to our 12s. I think it would be perfect at that PG-13 12 level, because it's that aspect. It's just like, think of the Hunger Games. You think of the Hunger Games, but then you throw in a Scottish twang and you sort of add that whole little Highland sort of bit. I feel like it would really work as sort of like a 12 or a PG-13. I definitely don't think it would be a right fit for children. I think it's more teenagers and young adults. I think it'd be more for.
Yeah. Now, I found one. I'd forgotten about. I kind of remembered it, but I forgot what the title was, so I just stumbled across it. The Thief and the Cobbler.
I can't say I know that one.
It's one of those that it took decades to properly make and release. I think it held the record for the longest movie in production. because it was out of production for nearly 3 decades.
Oh Jesus!
You know what?
I want to say someone actually took that title from it, but it was released under a couple of different names. There was The Thief and the Cobbler, The Princess and the Cobbler, and Arabian Night.
None of those bring any bells for me. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I remember stumbling across this. It was an interesting movie. It was kind of goofy. But it's one of those of like, that could be a very interesting one to make live action. Like, it's actually got all the points you could.
Oh,
You want to see remade? I want to see Shrek remade.
But not as a live action, please no.
Yes, Shrek, Mike Myers, live action.
I feel like it would have to be a hybrid there. It's one of those that would fit better as a hybrid. Like, by all means, get someone in like a Shrek suit or something like that. Cool.
To be Mike Myers.
But yeah. But no, I've just had a really good idea, and it's one of the earliest Disney movies. And a lot of people may give me hate for it, but I feel like a hybrid would fit this perfectly, and that's Fantasia.
That's not what I thought he was going to say.
I thought about that one. I wasn't sure on that one.
Like I say, I think Fantasia is going to be one of those that probably fits better as a hybrid.
Yeah, I can see.
I know they did a Princess and the Frog live action.
Yeah,
please,
they
no.
did that one.
Dumbo, no, not again. Please, never do that again.
Let's go.
I know they've done 101 Dalmatians and 102 Dalmatians. I know they did them live action.
I've seen the 101, and it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, like I did like the live action ones of those.
Yeah, the Cruella for that one was actually really good. Like they did a very good portrayal of Cruella for the original Dalmatians live action.
I feel like Cinderella's been overdone.
Yeah, that's one of those that's been done a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen the Cinderella remake and it was a bit dog shit, to be fair.
I'm actually going through D23's list of their full list of Disney movies.
Oh, I'm on Wikipedia for it.
Yeah, I'm on D23.com.
My memory.
And I've forgotten a lot of these fucking movies even existed.
That's how I found The Thief and the Cobbler. It started production in the 60s and finally got released in 95.
Do you know what? There is one movie that you can never ever remake. And I mean, I know they made a sequel for it more recently. And the sequel actually wasn't that bad, but they could never make another sequel for it. And that's Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like the
you can't recapture the magic of the original. I'm sorry. You really can't.
The sequel worked well. Don't get me wrong, the sequel worked well, but it felt too modern.
It was a nice sequel, and it kind of fit the style well. It kind of fit the timeline well. It felt like
it's the fact that they had the original Jane and Michael in it as well.
It wasn't out of place, and they had Dick Van Dyke in it. So how can you be upset about Dick Van Dyke?
This is the thing. I think if they were ever to do another Mary Poppins movie, if Dick Van Dyke passed away, they could never do it again. It'd have to be one of those things that would have to be just left as it is.
They have to kill the franchise and not make another one. That's it.
I actually haven't seen the new one.
What if they make
It's actually pretty good. I'd say give it a watch, especially if you like the original Mary Poppins, because the thing is, because it's a sequel, it's a very, very different story to the original one.
I just had a thought.
You know, but it's sort of still a similar sort of premise to Mary Poppins in the sense of, you know, she looks after the kids, she gives them something fun to do, she visits different worlds, basically opens their mind up and blah, blah, blah. It's definitely one of those to watch, but I wouldn't say watch it more than once. It would literally be a watch once deal. Cool, you've watched it, you've gotten it over and done with. Goodbye. sort of
What
thing.
if
It's not like the original Mary Poppins where it's something what you would watch like every Christmas or every New Year's. Which
What
is
if
a
they
thing
make,
over here, by the way, in case you didn't know that, Redneck.
Interesting.
what if they make like a sort of 1970s remake of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? That might actually be quite.
No. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, but
I'm joking with you.
absolutely not.
I
Okay.
think that's one of those you can't
You
redo.
don't touch
Chitty
that.
Chitty Bang Bang as
I
the
am
original is perfect as it is. I may be open to seeing a sequel, a more modern sequel. I may be open to it, but nothing. You would never be able to remake it. Absolutely
No.
not. A sequel, maybe.
I was taking the piss. You can't touch that.
Yeah, I was just one of those of like,
I
no.
was major piss. Don't worry. I'm not. I would not touch that beauty of a. I would not touch that marvel of a movie with any intention. Honestly, I'd watch it.
Good.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's just yeah, no.
Oh,
Like
Oliver and Company might be a good one to do.
Hmm.
I don't remember that.
Oh, there was one in my head, but I forgot it. Shit.
Was
Can
that
you
an-
imagine?
was that-
Can you
was
imagine
Oliver one of the-
DuckTales? Can you imagine DuckTales as a fucking live action?
The Goofy movie. The previous live.
Oh god, no! But the Goofy movie, I feel, would work really
Ooh.
well because you could get a guy to look like Goofy.
Mm. It would
I
still be
feel like
terrifying.
Goofy would probably work.
Oh, you know what could also really work? Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Yes.
I think
I
that
forgot
one
that
they
movie
could
existed.
really
Didn't
pull
they?
off.
Didn't they do a live action version of that?
I don't think they did.
I don't think Disney did, but I'm pretty sure another company came in and got the rights and did a live action of it.
I don't believe so.
That was actually one of my favorite movies. Mm.
They did a second movie that was straight to release, I think. Because I remember seeing a second one.
Oh my god, I'm loving the fact that I'm looking at Disney films and there's a few R-rated Disney films.
Oh.
And I just love the first one that I see in 1992, Consenting Adults.
Well,
Wait,
at least
was this
it's
one a
content.
Disney movie? I don't think this one was Disney, was it? Oh no, this was DreamWorks. This would be hilarious to do though.
Hmm.
The Road to El Dorado.
Oh yeah.
Not seen it.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Wait, as a live action?
Yes.
Yes.
The thing is, look at some of the stuff that Tim Burton's directed recently. Look at the sort of stuff that he's been directing live action wise recently. Like, look at Wednesday on Netflix, okay? That was freaking phenomenal.
Okay, yeah, I guess you could.
And I feel like as long as Tim Burton's at the helm of it again, it would work brilliantly. If you had any other guy at the helm, I don't think it'd work. It'd have to be Tim Burton's direction.
I mean, you could do a cat
And
in the hat.
that said as well, The Corpse Bride, I think, would be a good one as well.
Cat in the Hat remake could work probably.
No.
Why not?
The Cat in the Hat was one of the biggest flops in the cinema.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
It was okay, but it was one of those things that had really, really dry humor, and it didn't really resonate a lot with kids because unless you knew about a lot of the jokes already, you really didn't have a clue on what the fuck was being said.
That is fair, but I still liked it.
Let's see. There's so many movies here. That are pretty good, but it's like, yeah, Because it's like the Toy Story series. I genuinely think that would work really well. The whole Toy Story series would work really well.
Yeah, I think they would have potential. I just don't know. I mean, if you did it properly as animating them as proper toys, sure. If you try to do it as people, I would say probably no.
The thing is, I think the humans being humans would work really well. It's the toys that you'd have to be very careful with. And like I say, that one would have to be a hybrid behind actual toys and animation.
Yeah. Actually, now I think about it, some of these people who did
Bring back
Atlantis,
Armageddon. Make a sequel for Armageddon.
Armageddon?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, geez, that movie.
Do you know what? I genuinely forgot that's a Disney movie.
What?
Yeah, Armageddon's a Disney movie. There's a few here that I've seen and that I didn't believe.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, what? Ew.
Armageddon became Disney's highest grossing film until passed by The Sixth Sense, released on video in 1998. There's a few movies that I've seen in here that I didn't actually think. It's like G.I. Jane. I didn't realize that was Disney.
Which one?
The live action one with Pinkett Smith.
I don't remember which one that was. Hold on. Disney G.I. Jane. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Which one was that? Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
that one.
That was directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Armageddon again. I didn't realize that one was a Disney movie.
Yeah, G.I. Jane I liked. I know.
I feel like as much as I see it here, I really don't think that it would work well anymore to change it from animated, and that's Tarzan. We've had I think we've kind of had enough of it.
They did George of the Jungle, which was similar, which was actually rather hilarious.
Fuck it. I know what we do. We get a bunch of people who have ADHD. We put them in the middle of a field, right? And we get them to reenact the Tigger movie.
What?
A live action Tigger movie. A cast fully made up of ADHD people. Imagine how insane that would be.
Oh wait, Snowy River was Disney? I didn't know that. I remember watching those movies. I didn't know that was
the movie
Disney.
Pearl Harbor was also Disney.
That was good.
Like I say, there's a few here that I'm looking at and I'm like, that's not Disney, is it? And it's like, well, it must be because it's on the D23 website.
Now it could be that it's one of the studios owned by Disney.
Potentially.
Like some of these are listed as like Touchstone.
Yeah.
So I think Touchstone is owned by Disney, like Good Morning Vietnam. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Like I said, Armageddon. That was a Disney production.
Speaking of remakes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I feel like that one would be okay, but I feel like it might go down the same route as Space Jam because they redid Space Jam more recently, and that turned out to be a flop.
Well, okay, so Space Jam. There was the original planned sequel, which transformed into the Spy version with Brendan Fraser. And then there's Space Jam 2.
Sorry, but Spirited Away.
Oh, no, they acquired the rights to that when they did it with Ghibli, when they re-released with Ghibli Studios. There's a bunch of them that they have that are listed with Ghibli.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, damn it. Brother Bear. I don't know. I feel like that one's one of those. It's just like, nah.
Let's see, Let's see, from Studio Ghibli, they have Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, Tales from the Earth Sea, The Secret World of Arrietty, The Wind Rises, Princess Mononoke.
What about
Wait.
WALL-E?
Wind Rises. I think this was no. Okay, that's it for one.
I
What
was
do you
saying
think,
this
Liam?
is a bad idea because it will just look the same, but with actual fat people.
And actual robots.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I feel like WALL-E could actually be pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't really feel like it would. I feel like the story that they told is a one-time story. You can't really remake that.
But you could say the same about Up, and you were saying that Up would be a good one.
I think a reimagining of Up could be done. You couldn't do it the same way again.
Oh no, not the same way.
You
Maybe
couldn't do a true redo of it, but you could do like a reimagining of Up, just done in a whole
It's like
different
this is what I'm
styling.
saying. Even with WALL-E, like you could take the premise of WALL-E, but you could twist it and turn the story a little bit more to make it fit live action a lot more. Because I feel like WALL-E would be a great live action movie if the story was tweaked.
To be honest, the ending was anticlimactic.
Yeah, there's some of these I'm just not sure. Like, if you redo them, would they really be good?
What do you think about Wreck-It Ralph?
No,
I don't think it would work.
I don't think it would work on the basis of video games.
Yeah, it's trying to make that one live action. I don't think that would work. I really don't think that one would work.
Yeah, I'm up to the current live action movies that they're remaking now.
about a live action remake of a live action remake.
Nah.
Oh, here's one that I forgot they was originally a Disney movie, The Mighty Ducks.
Ah.
I forgot that was a Disney.
Oh my god, The Rescuers as a live action remake.
The Rescuers? Oh. I think I mentioned that one before, but that one could be good. That one could be. Oh dear God. Here's one, but I'm not sure how they would do it. I'm not sure why you would want to do it, but it would probably be cursed. The Muppets.
They've done it though.
Thing is, they already are live action.
I was gonna say,
but it was like one of those like, I don't know how you could make that any more live action, but if you did, it would probably be kind of cursed.
I don't want to see an actual person with Gonzo's nose. That is actually terrifying.
Like I said, it's like I don't think you could really do that any more live action than it already is. But if you did, it would be cursed as hell.
yeah,
It would be. Honestly, it would be.
No, that's a great big no. That's all that one is a great big no.
God, could you imagine live action Beaker? Oh God. There's a man with a really long face.
Let's just chalk that one up as potentially another nightmare-inducing one.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, there's a couple of these that are just like, I don't know why you want to do it, but it is nightmare-inducing, therefore, no. Just great big no.
Right. Anyway, I think we sat here on this topic for long enough because we have been sat here for about 15, 20 minutes just looking at websites and going, we think this one be.
What about this one? No. This one? Maybe.
No.
How about this one?
Yeah. Oh no. But yeah, the last one that we were going to talk about was Bambi. All I will say on that is one thing and one thing
I don't
only.
think that was the last one.
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, Bambi's one you really should not do. There's the other one that we'd mentioned that was cursed, and that was the Robin Hood movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, it wasn't the fact that it was cursed. It was more of the fact that it's just overdone. We've had live action movies. We've had reanimated movies. It's just overplayed.
There's been so many versions of Robin Hood done.
It really is just massively overplayed.
Yeah,
they're completely robbing the magic.
Yeah, they're just ruining the magic. The catch is like, I'm concerned about the whole anthropomorphic animals live action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because we saw the last time they did that, and we all know the horror that is cats.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So that's my concern, is that this has a baseline premise that would result in that. I really don't want them animating something like that again.
Yeah.
No.
Once was too many times.
Oh, God,
I can also say as a great thankful for my own sanity, I've never seen that movie.
A thought that just crossed my own mind.
Oh,
Animal
Lord.
Farm, the remake. The live action remake of Animal Farm. Ooh, that'd be bad.
Yeah, but that said, look at like Babe. That was a very successful sort of like animal.
Babe was somehow, but that was one of those. They didn't try to make that one super realistic. They tried to hold to some of the silliness that was the animated.
Yeah.
And I think that was why that one kind of worked. Wait, hold up. Is this getting a remake? I just saw something off the D23 list. Now I have to look this up. Oh. Wait, please tell me this is not a live action? It's a hybrid?
What?
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh yeah, no, there's a new hyper one. That is a new whatever you call it one. I can't remember.
Yeah, the hybrid. It came out last year.
Yeah, I want to watch it, to be honest. It looks really good. They reference a lot of animations in that one, apparently, according to the trailer.
Yeah, and it's variety of like CGI and animations.
I really do want to see it, to be fair. That looks really good.
I didn't know they redid this one.
It was advertised nearly everywhere in the world. Because it's Chip and Dale. Who doesn't like Chip and Dale?
I don't actually have, like... I have a TV, but I don't ever use it.
That's
right.
Fair.
Anyway, I hate to step in, but we are nearing the 2-hour 50 mark.
Jesus Christ.
And I do say I try not to let these go on past 3 hours. But yeah, before we go, there is just one thing we need to do.
Oh.
One final thing. And Neon, you get the honor of being the first one to do this. I need to go find my audio clip. Hold on. I need to go find the audio clip because it disappeared again.
What? Now. How could you lose that?
I know.
You got me scared now. What's happening?
Neon, this is now time for our sponsor, not sponsor. See, it still works. It still works. Neon, could you please enlighten us? Do you understand the sponsor, not sponsor segment?
Not 100%. No.
Okay, so basically we pick a random item that we've either used recently or a product that we really, really stand by, and we have our sponsor, not sponsor slot, and we basically make up like a funny sponsor slot for them, where we make out that we're sponsored by them, but we're not. Okay, I'll let Redneck give you a quick example. Okay, so Redneck Alcatraz, what is your sponsor, not sponsor?
If I actually had one of these, I would totally do a different one than this. But we're going to go with M&Ms. When you need a candied snack that is chocolate on the outside, hard, well, kind of flavorless candy on the outside, that you can buy in large quantities for way too damn much because they have upped the price on them. M&M's is your go-to.
Nice. I like that one. Do you get the premise now, Neon?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to tell everybody on the Spotify verse, YouTube verse, and the Twitch and Kick verse, because I can now say Kick verse. Fuck yeah. What's your sponsor, not sponsor?
So I have Copperberg as my sponsor, not sponsor, for when you need a drink and you hate yourself, but you still need a drink anyway because it tastes like good, sweet stuff.
Do you know what? That's fair. And you know what? I'm going to follow in Neon's theme because my sponsor, not sponsor, is any kind of piss lager. Because if you hate yourself truly enough, you're that desperate to drink piss, why not drink lager? The only thing that won't destroy your insides, but maybe will if you drink too much of it. Drink piss today.
You know,
sponsored by Carlsberg.
Oh, there was honestly one I almost wanted to do. It was in reference to stuff from the beginning that someone had chatted. Let me see if I could find who was responsible for this one.
We're talking about Wolfie.
I think it may have been Wolfie, but it could have been Neon. Nope, this was Neon who did this one.
Oh.
Bad Dragon. We need a Cox that actually works, and unlike the one from Hasbro who's incompetent.
There you
go.
Does
not work.
That's perfect. And ladies and gentlemen and everybody in between, that was our sponsor, not sponsor. I need to make one that's a plural, so it's sponsor, not sponsors.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is now time for us to say goodbye. Thank you for listening or watching wherever you are tonight. As always, I've been DJ Costin.
I'm Redneck Alcatraz.
And I'm the guest star, Retro Neon.
You just needed to say, and I'm Retro Neon.
But it was our surprise guest because it wasn't planned, but it worked.
You can tell that he's new here.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Nerdz Discuss. We will be back next month on the 24th of June, which is the last Saturday of the month. Well, we will be talking about all things June 2023 and maybe trashing a little more on Disney movies that shouldn't exist.
Who knows? We'll see.
Don't forget, if you are listening to us on Spotify, please go click that follow button. If you're watching us over on the YouTubes or you're watching the cuts over on Twitch or Kick, drop that follow as well. If you aren't currently aware, we are on all major podcast platforms. So we're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Podcasts, the Google Podcasts. I can't list anymore because that's all I can remember.
He loses track. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, you're right there. But we're on all good podcast sources and some bad ones as well. And I really need to fish those ones out. We're also over on YouTube, youtube.com/@NerdsDiscuss. You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/NerdsDiscuss. You can also go follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/.
Nerdz Discuss.
See, these lads have got it. And you can also follow us now. Thanks to this being our first ever stream on the platform, kick.com/neon.
Nerdz discuss.
See, he's got it. But that's all from me, and that's all from these two fuckwits. And I guess we will see you in about 4 weeks' time.
I'll have you
For
know there's 3 fuckwits here.
Yeah, don't forget to check us all out on our respective platforms as well. Twitch.tv/DJ Costin, Twitch.tv/Redneck Alcatraz. But as always, it's been a pleasure.
See you next time.
Good night. Yeah, see you next time, I guess.